Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, brought to you by myself, Brendan Maguire, and Anthony Grogan. We're going to be bringing you all the best hunting, fishing and field sports from around the country. Hello and welcome along to the Irish Hunting Podcast. On this, our 40th episode, we will be talking to Shane O'Neill from the NARGC. Shane is the Youth Development Executive with the NARGC, and he'll be talking all things pheasant rearing, what we need to do ahead of the upcoming shooting season. We'll also be bringing you our weekly roundup of news and events from around the country, and as well as our Let's Talk Gear section. Hope you all enjoy. Anthony Grogan, how are you getting on, lad?
Bernie Maguire, what's happening, buddy?
Oh man, all quiet. All is quiet here. We're back on Zoom, man. When is the last time we done one actually in studio? It's a while, is it?
I don't know, man. It's been fucking hectic. It's just been mad. We're trying to squeeze them in. I think we were getting messages there from people. When's the fucking next podcast out? So we'll have it out for the weekend anyway. You know.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have it. I'll try and get it out for the morning. So people going to work on Friday morning will be able to listen all go on to plan. If there's no more technical issues. Come here, talk to me. What's been going on? You were out. Were you out this week? You were.
I was out. Fox, and when was I out? Was it Tuesday night? Tuesday night,
I believe. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Headed out. When did you get back from holidays? Wednesday? No.
I got back on Thursday.
Yeah, sorry, you were out last night. Yeah, I was out Tuesday night. Yeah, sorry, man.
Yes.
Tuesday. Yeah. Look, plenty of activity, man. I think we spoke about this, both you and I. There's a lot of foxes moving at the minute. For whatever reason. Beautiful night. Went down. Didn't have to go very far. I did the usual kind of to run down my lane and seeing nothing. Kind of had seen one. I'd say it was 300-400 yards. Kind of moving in between sheep and cattle. But was having none of me. I was out with the dog down, the custom collars. Very good. The rattler and the shaker.
Yes.
The rattler and the squeaker. Sorry. Can't wait for you to try these out, man. Actually, they're very handy.
I actually got a phone call off Janis. Yeah, we need a nickname for Janis. What are we going to call him? Janis, the Hungarian hunting machine. That's a fucking class one. I like that.
That's Janis. A fucking tongue twister, man.
That is a tongue twister. Janos. No, just ask me about him. He had seen one of your posts on Facebook and asked me about them, and I says Anthony Grogan is raving about them. He says they're absolutely fantastic. So he says, how do we order some? So I need to talk to you about that. We want to order up some as well because they look absolutely wicked, and I heard they're brilliant.
Yeah, I won mine in a competition back in February, and I was actually talking to the guy who makes them there during the week, because I was saying to him, look, just to let you know, they only landed like a week or two ago. It's something to do with customs at the minute. Some are getting here quicker than others, so he's trying to get to the bottom of it. But I told him as well, there's a big following for them over here. So what I am finding just on that, right, the kind of younger foxes, I don't think they really have much interest in fucking calls anyway, a younger fox. I think they're just, they do their own fucking thing. You know, they don't really know what's going on. It's the older foxes that seem to be perky to these things. So yeah, like that. Now I did call in one on Tuesday. So I went out when, let me see, the first field. Obviously, did scan that, went up to my usual haunt, the first lane, as you know. I think I've brought you down there before. And right back to the field where I shot one the other night, the night previous. So, and like that, peaked in the field, and there was one moving along the hedge, not a big distance away, about 110, 115 roughly. Nailed him, and within another 2 minutes there was one coming from the left hand side and one coming from the right hand side. Stepped in and took the second one And then I think I was talking to you about this. The closest one, which should have been the fucking easiest one, I missed. I think it was 70, 80 yards.
Mm.
And I don't know the reason behind that. I think, well, I actually do. I was actually talking to Rob the other day about it. I was sort of saying, fucking, like, I can't understand, like the two, they were, the 120-ish rough, averaging,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
nailed them dead on. And I think what's happened in my fox hunting journey, I think is a small tip for people. I traditionally, I think I spoke to you, cautious going underneath, going under it rather than over,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've kind of slightly overcorrected, so I tend to, put the crosshairs just on the top of the back, and the small bit of drop seems to be working for me with the round I'm using at the minute. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what happened. I was so close, and I kind of just I put the crosshairs a little bit too high, and just went over his back,
Okay.
But look I called it a night after that one because I was just I would over gathered up the two foxes, I got the picture as you seen,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was 12:30, early night for us, or 1:45 roughly. Um,
Yeah.
wrapped up, and went home happy out.
Deadly, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They look like they were in great nick, man. Yeah, they were good. They looked like they were good, healthy looking foxes, I suppose.
Yeah,
The
absolutely, yeah.
great coats and stuff on them. So,
But funny enough, actually, Brenny, just when I was the second one, was a nicer shot. It was kind of there's a small strip of a kind of like an access field, that's all overgrown. It hasn't been used in years and years and years. But he's kind of dipping in and out, so the fence is obviously down and it's kind of broken down. He
mm-hmm.
kind of dipped in left, dipped in right. So he was kind of going in and out with my thermal, the handheld, and then I lost him for ages on the night vision, and then just kind of peeked out, gave a little squeak. He looked back, bang, and but in around that area, there was the remnants of a dead lamb, where obviously did and obviously lambs are pretty well on to be nearly fecking hoggets at this stage, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a laden down field with sheep and that, so obviously something had come to its end, and that's what they were at in that corner. Because I
Okay.
was wondering why, like, that's probably 7, 8 foxes I've seen in that field. It's not a big field.
No, honest to God, yeah, yeah. But it's the cast too as well. And I had this conversation with a fella during the week as well, just on callers and stuff like that. And I suppose it's probably hard to kind of fully make a call on a caller unless you've tested it in all seasons, I suppose, isn't it? Because I've certainly noticed it in the past, like out lamping, and say you put out a squeak that at 9 times, that during the colder months would 100% get a fox's attention.
Yeah,
And in the warmer months, they know it's there to hear it, but they don't even bat an eye at that. It's fucking
yeah.
gas, isn't it? It's
Look,
gas.
there's an abundance of food at the minute. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
there's between, lads out spreading, as you know, and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff, and then the harvest is going on, and there's
yeah,
bales flying up, and when a bale is moved, then there's worms and
yeah, hundred
slugs and
percent.
all kinds of stuff. So they kind of have an abundance at the minute. They tend not to be
Yeah,
too interested in a distress call. It's kind of like almost too much fucking hassle sometimes. But
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Just a question for you there. So obviously you're at the minute, which it's soon to be it'll soon to be your old gun. You're 6.5 by 55 at the minute, and you are
yeah,
using Cellier and Bellow 100 and what
20
grain?
grand.
120 grain
Yeah,
soft pints, or what
yeah,
are they? Soft
yeah.
pints.
Soft bites.
If you a fox you'd get at 120 yards, would you see much damage to it? Would there be physically much damage, like trauma to it, or would it?
Yeah,
Would there? Okay,
yeah. Like
okay,
them the two foxes I put in the picture, I put them that way for a reason.
yeah, okay, yeah,
There
yeah,
was significant damage. Yeah. So like it's stopping them dead, man. At that range. Like even the one the previous week, at the 215, like dropped where I was standing, man. Like there was no, I didn't have to do too much rooting.
but
Um,
much damage at that range, that distance, then, or
yeah, again,
yeah,
yeah, it was significant. This damage. So
okay.
there's a nice look. I know people are going to say the round I'm using is probably a bit heavy for foxes, and that is correct. But I just have
Mm-hmm.
and pinning it. Dead instantly is better than dead or half dead or
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
so on.
No,
So
definitely, I agree with you there. No, I'll tell you the reason I'm asking the question is something I noticed, and I've spoken detail a few times with a few people about it. I, as everyone would have known, probably at this stage, obviously I was using a 243, and I kept this because I kept zero. I kept the same round because I just didn't fucking have time to be re-zeroing it for
yeah,
different rounds. And quite often I could be out for a fox tonight and out for a deer in the morning. So
yeah.
I was using their federal 100 grain soft pints, and I've shot, I don't know what would I've shot. I've shot fucking 50 foxes with that 243 probably, and no damage, like little or no damage, like dead instantly, but
Yeah.
minimal damage. And whereas Yanis is using cellular and bellows, still 100 grain, still soft pint. But my God, man, the damage compared to what mine, I
Yeah.
was like, what are you using, man? And he showed me. He says, and I seen them physically with my own eyes. I said, Jesus, that's mad. So I just wanted to know. That's what I was just wondering there. Like, it's different rounds. Is there the
I
makeup
put it
of
this way: Andy Fox won't be busy out of
yeah,
after,
yeah, after, no,
So
fair enough,
that's the
yeah.
thing, I suppose. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You might get a slipper though.
yeah,
You get a
I
slipper.
will. One of these days, I will get me slippers, man. I will get me
Yeah,
slippers.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
You were out yourself.
I was out last night and I'm fucking bollocks tired. I can't remember why. I was up late for 2 nights. I didn't get to bed till 2 o'clock the other morning and last night as well. So I'm going off about. Oh no, sorry, I didn't. I went early, but it was something. Yeah, I'm after getting. I think I added up about 7 hours sleep over the past 2 nights. So I am wrecked.
That's good.
But,
That's good. Well,
but
now you know how I feel, man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, we went out myself and the Big Mac went out, and I wasn't home to work till about 8 o'clock, and I just was like hadn't been out in probably a week and a half or more, probably.
You had the
So
itch.
I had the itch, so I says rang Big Mac. Of course, he was only fucking mad to come out. He was giving me shit for not having another podcast done. So yeah, so I says let's go. So just down to a local spot, just down the road from us, and went out primarily after a fox. And we walked around a little bit. No, we didn't do miles. There's no point saying different, but put out a bit of a call. Nothing stirring, no sign of anything. Nothing even came kind of remotely. We didn't even get a glance at anything until we were kind of heading back up to where the van was, and then for a split second, the fox he was just like that. He was just on a mission, man. He had his own agenda. He wasn't interested at all. No, I literally saw him and then into the hedge and down. There's a big quarry at the back where we were hunting. So yeah, he was gone. That was it. So I said to myself, I wanted a rabbit as I was talking to you today. I was thinking, I don't know what dish to do. I didn't get to do anything today with it, but I'll do something tomorrow. So I just said I'd test the 1.7. So I just kind of wanted to push out distance with it. So yeah, I saw a rabbit, and I didn't actually measure it before I took the shot, but I knew he was a good distance away anyway. And shot him. Yeah, that was it, stone dead. And when I marked it, it was 150. I think it was 157 or 159 yards. So I was happy with that. I was fairly happy with that at the 1.7. It's bang on accurate. So yeah.
That reinforces what we've kind of been saying the last couple of weeks. Anyway, it's doing exactly what it should be doing. If it's knocking at that distance, you'll knock a fox. Was just exactly what you want. Anyway,
It's exactly what I want. I know I spoke about before. I was at the start. There was on a couple of occasions I've said to me, the only downside to it is sometimes when you're out in the field and there's one, forward, even a fox now kind of forward of 150 yards, you'd be hesitant. Whereas if you had the fucking 243 rat and you'd be like, no, happy fucking days. But she's all working. She's all working.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, she's all working.
So, Rabbit, have you decided what recipe you're doing tomorrow?
No, I haven't now, to be honest with you. I haven't cleaned out and all. It was kind of just, when I was there, I said I'll do something. So I just want to do something quick and easy. I'd love to actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I would love to do a deep fried something with, just as a trial now. I'd love to do a little bit of a batter, or not a batter, a breadcrumb or something like that. And I'd love to do a deep fried job, or an air fryer job, maybe an air fryer job. I don't know. Let's see, and suss it out.
Absolutely.
We shall suss it out, man. So so that was our week, I suppose, today. Obviously, we're going to be bringing people our interview with the one and only the character. I think that's the best way to describe him. That is Shane O'Neill. What an absolute legend!
But he's infectious, isn't he? He makes you want to get up and get your own club started if you haven't got it done.
Yeah.
And then if you have your own club started, well, he makes you feel a little bit fucking lazy for the little bits they are doing it, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man. 100%. Yeah. No, he's an absolute legend. So that is yet to come. But I suppose we'll kick it off in true style with our new segment, which we still don't have a jingle for, but we're working on it.
That is the jingle. That's the new slot.
That is the jingle. We'll just leave it at that. Exactly right. I'm going to kick it off first. So this was a post that we saw in the Women in Shooting Sports Ireland Facebook page. So if you're on there, if you're a female or male or whatever, if you're into hunting or not, just jump on and have a look, give them a like and stuff. So it was then posted about the National Association of Sporting Rifle and Pistol Clubs is at the BRC Shooting Club. So it's a national competition, BRC July 2023. So BRC Shooting Club will hold the NASRPC national competition on Friday the 21st, Saturday the 22nd, and Sunday the 23rd of July 2023. So that's...
I know we've a big contingent of men and women that compete in that particular discipline. So sounds like a nice couple of days out there.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so get on and have a look. If you're even interested and you're thinking of getting on, wouldn't it be a great place to go and have a bit of a look around? Even jump onto their Facebook page there and have a bit of a look around and see sure it might just take your fancy. You could be the next person competing in a competition like that, you know?
Absolutely. Get it.
Yeah.
For the dog men and women amongst us. I think we've mentioned this before, but we're just going to give another little shout out. Philip Mackin there on North Carlow Lurchers. So it's the Burren Working Dog Show, Saturday the 29th of July. It's in the Greenan Road, showing from 12 noon. The classes are Hounds, Terriers, Lurcher, Strong Dog. My Springer, man, I tell you, strong dog. There's not a fucking stronger Springer in Ireland. That's the challenge.
Honest to God, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
go through a fucking barbed wire fence.
I'm going to say something here now, and you're going to say
chained to a concrete block.
I'm going to say something here now, and you're going to say, is there a 3-legged dog race? Because you could have a contender there either.
Well, that's my tracking dog. You see, I've a strong dog, a tracking dog, and then my new pointer man. She
is a dog.
You're fucking digressing here now.
Sorry.
Come back from Spain with all kinds of notions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Admission is a £5, under 16s free. €3 entry per class. Like, there you go. If anyone feels that their dog is the dog, get down.
Yeah, exactly. Get down. I actually, I might actually try and head down to that myself if I can at all. I would love stuff like that, you know.
With Chase?
No, not with Chase. No, just to get down for a look. What do you mean with Chase? How dare you? That dog is a saint.
You may enter yourself. You win the strong dog.
Yeah, exactly. Be nice to win something. Come here. This is so the next one is the NARGC, the national shoot. I think most of us would have gotten emails and stuff about this during the week, and there's obviously a couple of posts about it. So this is just a little thing it was an email actually that came on, so I'm just going to read it out. So it's first, all roads lead to the ICTSA shooting grounds in Esker, Banagher, County Galway. Now, I know we did mention this before, but it is coming up on Saturday, the 15th of July, which is this Saturday coming. So, yeah, exactly. 25 county teams, 12 competitors per teams. Compete in 3 divisions. Ladies under 21s and trainee license holders also compete. So that's class. Like so people that are just starting off can compete and all. So and then on Sunday the 16th of July, you have 25 clubs teams, 6-person team representing their clubs and counties in the inter-club competition. The veteran, super veteran, and side-by-side competitions also take place. So, yeah, best of luck to everyone that's taking part in that. A real great day out, and I know there's a lot of people going to be, from around here and everywhere, going to be heading down to that. That's probably one of the biggest days that the NARGC have throughout the year. So, yeah, definitely worth a look.
Brilliant stuff. This is slightly different. Again, over to our pals in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Newark. Is it Newark? Is that how they spell it? How they pronounce that over there? I'm
No.
not kind of one of the lads now, so
Newark. What are you talking
Newark.
about? No,
New
man.
York.
You're trying to say New York with a Boston accent. No, what do
New
you do?
York. Look at it, man. I'm technically one of them now.
New
So like,
York.
New York.
That's what you are,
This
a
is
New York.
this is the Mad River World Classic. Mad River. This fucking sounds like something over your street, McGuire. Now,
Yeah, I like it.
Friday, July 21st. All are welcome and encouraged to join us at the Gathering Place. Well, that's a fucking name and a half, isn't it?
Without.
In Redfield, NY at 6 p.m. for cold beverages and to get fired up for the World Classic. And then Saturday, 22nd, his registration will be 8 a.m. 12 p.m. We invite everyone to enjoy a day of fun and competition. There will be a chicken barbecue that afternoon. And even if you don't shoot, come and have a chicken dinner. There's two 15-target courses. Entry fee $20, 50-50 in raffles. Steal to your target with other money to shoot targets. Takeout and pre-sale available. Chicken barbecue. Contact Connor or Bill Rowell. So like that sounds brilliant. Why don't we have more of this stuff? Like I love the whole kind of festival. Like even they have a fucking warm up on the Friday. You go there, and get fucking pissed apart, have loads of chicken, and then talk about the shooting you're going to be doing.
I was just thinking that as you were reading that, I was just like, doesn't that just like join us at the Gathering Place? So peaceful and ready for cold beverages. And get fired. Yeehaw, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More of that. You up over it. That's class.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely class on this, yeah. This is just another little thing. It was a write-up in the Roscommon Herald. So it was just basically, a bit of a... so council highlights success of the Roscommon Conservation Project. Now, I think most of us will be familiar with this. Ballydangan Wild Grouse Project in South Roscommon. It's a pioneering project preventing the extinction of the endangered bird species of the wild grouse established in 2009. There's a lot of stuff about this online. You can have a read of it. I'm not going to read it all here, but we just want to say, lads, fair fucking play. This is great. This is brilliant. Absolutely masters. A picture of a man here, a good-looking rooster himself, Pat Feely. Would you call it, or Feely?
Feely, yeah.
Pat Feely. He's the project manager and the CE supervisor. Lads, everyone that is involved in that, the Ballydangan Bog Red Grouse project, well done. Fantastic.
Absolutely well done.
Yep. Great to see. Good headlines. And Roscommon Herald. Good on you.
Well done. Super stuff. Well done, guys.
Super stuff. And that concludes the news segment on episode 40.
It's episode 40, man.
Episode 40, man. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Cheers, man. I'm sticking you well.
Sticking well, lad. Something working, yeah. Honest to God, yeah, something's working. Come here. We do this, bring this interview with the one and only Shane O'Neill, will we?
Let's do it, yeah. Can't wait for this. Can't wait for Shane.
Here we go. Hope you all enjoy.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Untethered and Wanderwise, where adventure has no age limit. We're your co-host, Heidi Brandis and Nikki Mahundro, and we're here to inspire and celebrate women over 45 who are embracing their independence and want to explore the world on their own terms.
Shane O'Neill, at long last, man, welcome along to the Irish Hunting Podcast.
How are you, boys? Are you well?
Good, Shane. Good to see you, man.
Good to be here.
You're only finished up a bit of work there for the day, are you? Or are you starting?
Exactly, yeah. There's milk all over the place in this at the minute now with peak. So, like I said to you a few minutes ago, long live the cow, long may it continue.
Continue. For anyone that's out there that doesn't know you, which I don't know fucking hell where you've been, but anyone that doesn't know you, give us an introduction. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, Shane's my name, from Kilkenny here. I'm 32 years of age. I'm involved in hunting, shooting, everything you can think of, as long as I can remember now. My good father, God love him, he brought me out since I was up to his knee. We used to start off, like most people, probably shooting pigeons, and I'd be sitting in the hide and I'd be watching for a bird to drop, and out I'd go like the dog. So my father always says it was cheaper to keep me than keep the dog, so we used to keep ahead.
Oh, brilliant.
Good stuff.
Only
in Ireland, man. That's it. Only in Ireland. That's a good story, man. Only in Ireland.
Okay, yeah, and I knew the same to my kids now when they come of age. well, even though I have enough fucking dogs here now, but I'll bring them on and let them do the running.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do no harm. Do no harm.
Throw them in the
Oh,
deep
it's
end.
great. It's great to have them out and about and just the fresh air. You wouldn't realise, like, even like I heard you talking a few weeks ago about clean muck, good hardy kids. Like, and
Yeah.
less they're on them tablets now, the better. Like, I remember, Chase, I must have been only 5 or 6, and the gun club we were in at the time, there was a group of young lads going at the minute. I'm still friends with most of them at the minute now, and we used to be going off baiting foxes, like, and we'd be in the cover. Sure, the fucking cover be 5-6 foot over our head, and we were in our element, roaring around. We'd have stones in biscuit tins and roaring. We used to love it. We used to live for it.
Yeah. Didn't do you want not one bit of fucking harm, lad. 100%. I was only talking about this actually to my wife here the other day. I think from memory, I think I was about 15 or 16 when I had my first ever antibiotic, and that was just because I was absolutely murdered. I got tonsillitis out of nowhere, and it wiped me. But that's still not bad going, I don't think, to make it to 16 before having an antibiotic.
Jesus, not no.
Yeah.
I even remember a good story there. My father used to be always giving out to me. I'd have the fox and I'd have it up on my back heading away after we get the fox, and he'd be roaring at me, "Put that fucking thing down, will ya? You have to go home in the car." So I'd be in my element.
Yeah. Didn't do you one bit. You're the picture of health there now on you, so just the proof is in the pudding there. Didn't do you one bit of fucking harm.
Good, hardy, clean muck.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
I tell you, that's absolutely. I've 5 nippers here now at the minute. One of them is not running around just yet, but the other 4 are outside there. They'll be playing ball outside. There's a football match going here on the park, and it'll be somewhere around 10:30, 11:15, and they'll come in, and there'll be all kinds of wet. There'll be showers out there. They won't come in because you'd want to drag them in. And Avril will tell you here, I think between the 5 of our kids, if there's been 2 antibiotics, and the eldest one now is 20 and down to newborn, 2 antibiotics, let's say, between the whole 5 of them at the minute, touch wood, you know.
Yeah.
And that's an achievement in itself. But I definitely concur with what Shane says there. You know, obviously a little bit of luck. Jesus, don't get me wrong. Just people are dealt bad hands and stuff like that. You know, but I definitely think that the good fresh air, you know, getting out, getting down with a bit of clean dirt does help. You know, it does help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in the breeding, like going out. Like my father would have bringing me out, his father would have bringing him out. And now, as you know, I'd have the girls, I'd have them everywhere, down checking the birds. We could be checking snares, checking traps, the whole lot. They just don't want to, anywhere I go, they'd want to go. It's just it's brilliant. If I could be on nights and I could forget to put in the chickens below, and I'd ring or text my good wife Claire there, and I just tell Lucy to put in the birds. And honest to God, I have 3 or 4 pens here, and she'd have the right bird and the right pen every time. Like, and you'd only have to show them the once.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, deadly, isn't it? It's brilliant. There's not too many parents can say that about their kids. I can guarantee you that.
No, it's a fact. We actually when we were doing the arts competition with the NARGC, we'll touch on it there in a while. I'll never forget this. We went in and we asked them to draw a native animal in Ireland, deer and kingfisher. The next thing I looked around and I looked at this one, and it was a fucking big tiger. And I was thinking to myself, what's this lad? And I went into the chap and he says, we don't have tigers in Ireland. And he goes, oh, we do. I saw one in Dublin there the other day up at the zoo. And I thought to myself, fucker, you got me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He got you.
Can't beat the innocence.
Yeah, you can't argue with that, man. They're here.
No, brilliant to see it's brilliant to see them all. Even just to do such a drawing, like, just I can't emphasize this enough, how important the youth is in Ireland. Even not in Ireland, across the world, whatever sport you're into, whatever tradition, the youth is the next generation. Like, we're only sitting on borrowed time. Like, so when I seen them, how much of an influence just by drawing a simple picture, just their eyes lit up. So it's brilliant to see. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, no, definitely. And I say you brought it up, and it'll just lead us into, obviously, it'll just be ideal. A bit about your role within the NARGC. You can explain that in a minute. I just had a chat with a gentleman earlier on today, and one thing I did bring up was that cares of the countryside, and I just think, as I said it on numerous occasions at this stage, it is a breath of fresh air in the country, in the sport, in the community. more of this, please. NARGC, pass on the word. I'm sure they know at this stage, but more of that. That is absolutely, it is such a fucking fantastic thing. So hats off to everyone involved in that. And let us know. Give us a bit of a talk about your role within the NARGC and what kind of stuff.
Yeah, so in Kilkenny here, I'm a PRO and I'm in development officer and youth officer for KSCC. It's the Kilkenny Regional Game Council. John Pheasant Rearing and asked me would I get involved, which I was only glad to do. So I'm Mervyn Briscoe, as you all know, is the youth development officer for the NARGC, and then he'd have a committee then with him, and we'd be working together, bouncing ideas off each other, and just like basically spreading around what we can do with the cares of the countryside. We actually have a meeting next Wednesday now where we're going to be bouncing a few more ideas off us. So basically, we have Mervyn will have lads in each corner of Ireland, hopefully running the youth development for the NARGC and keeping it on. But as he said there a minute ago, the drawing, the competition, I don't know who came up to, because it was started before I got in that picture, because I can't believe how well it went for the first year. Like it can only go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, can we do one thing before we go up? Would you maybe just flick off your video, because we're just getting a little bit of a delay, and it's Shane, and it might just help. It. Yeah. This is true Irish hunting podcast style here. Yeah. Now I think you're. Have you got you there, Shane? Have you now?
No, yeah.
Yeah. I think
the reception isn't great there, Shane, just at the minute, so it's kind of flicking in and out. Maybe if you switch off your video, just leave the audio, it'll leave it a little bit smoother for you. Yeah. Not that we don't want to see your fine Kilkenny head. Yeah. Your fine
Kilkenny head. It's as good of a Kilkenny head as I ever seen. That's better. That's way better. Yeah. That's way better. So so you mentioned, so you are there's some fresh ideas. You're going to put a couple of heads together now over the next while, and there's some you're tying with the idea. There's going to be some new projects coming for the upcoming year. Is that right?
Absolutely. They're in the pipeline at the minute, but as you probably know better than anyone, it takes a while to get something over the line, and you're always going to come to hurdles, and it take time to jump over, and you didn't predict this or you didn't predict that, but there is a couple in the pipeline at the minute, and next year then we hope to kick on and have an even bigger, like the amount of coverage that this Cares of the Countryside got, even when it was over, people realising what was on. So I can only presume that next year is going to be massive. So
brilliant. Yeah, well,
just on that, Shane, I think you touched on something there. I think we're only kind of biding time and stuff. Like we're essentially custodians of the future, really. And all we can do is try and pass on a bit of knowledge to the generation coming after us, and I think, in fairness, the Cares of the Countryside program probably didn't get enough credence, I think, from all angles until it was kind of late in the day and people realized, geez, we were onto something here, and even myself, I was kind of battering down doors at the time to try and get a bit of publicity on it, and geez, once it started, then it took off flying, and almost, as you said, towards the end of it, there was a clamour nearly to get on board, which is hopefully a good sign for next year,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah, and like one of the rules we brought in was, well, it's not really a rule; it's just a guideline that we don't want the same schools the whole time. So the schools that didn't participate this year, or the 4 schools that were picked, they can't go ahead next year, so we have to go back to the drawing board and find new schools. And then eventually that school will come back around, and the chap who's in first class or second class, and next thing they said, oh, JJ, I remember that. I'm going to go back at that again now and try and draw something like.
Yeah.
But even the posters, like, I'll give you an example here of my 2 kids. Like, my 2 kids are used to seeing this kind of thing. And when I went into the school that they went to, and I put the poster up on the board and told them what was happening, the whole lot. A couple of kids pointed, oh, look at the ducks and all that. Just my eldest one piped up and goes, oh, no, they're not, they're mallard. They were able to even, like, they're not just ducks, they're mallard. There's the drake, there's the duck.
That's brilliant.
So simple.
Yeah, but just that's brilliant. And as well, Anthony, I've said this to you as well. If we'd more lads like you two like I know firsthand the effort, Anthony, that you put into it this year, going around to your clubs. I used to look at all the pictures on Facebook and stuff, and it was you, it was you, and no one else, and apart from obviously the people in the school and stuff, which is not an easy thing to do. But if we had more lads like the two of you, that just putting in the effort, I am going to put the question out there, and I'm going to ask it on our next quarterly meeting. My gun club is with the Meath Regency Game Council. Now, perhaps clubs in that area did take part in it. If they have, brilliant. I haven't heard whether they have or not, but I will certainly be asking the question: how are we doing this actively? And if we're not, I'll be fucking damn well making sure that we are next year. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah. So, no, brilliant stuff. So, I suppose, that's I suppose part of what you do in the NARGC. You're obviously saying you got into hunting from a young age. It's something you're obviously very passionate about. Where did you transition to? I suppose that obviously your knowledge base on pheasants and rearing them and poultry in general is absolutely fantastic, because both myself and Anthony have had to tap into it on numerous
I've learned more last fucking year, Brenny. I think in our last couple of months talking to Shano. I want to talk, just rewind a little bit. Shano's been probably a little bit of a what would you say, one of the first official supporters of the podcast. I think he messaged us way back, Brenny. You'll recall when we only started, and he gave us plenty of support, in fairness to him. And I think that he's not doing himself justice. I think he's a breath of fresh air himself in around the youth and in around hunting in general. You know, he's exactly what we need. You know. Yeah,
exactly. Without a doubt. Yeah. Definitely a future chairman.
He's gone all quiet there now. He's gone all shy there now.
He's blushing now.
Not like.
Don't hear me wife say that, future chairman, for fuck's sake.
Why not? There is, yeah. I can just about fucking imagine. But
I was only glad to help on, because I was saying it there. I'd be chatting to Keith Ford regularly, the PRO, and I was saying, like, you need to keep with the times, like, and at the times podcasts are the thing. So lads thinking, Jez, I haven't time to fucking go in there and watch telly or anything like that. You can throw on the earphones, or you can have you're heading off there on a long trip. You can throw the podcast on the radio. You can have them on your earmuffs as you're sitting cutting the grass, and they're just so beneficial, I think, because you're doing things, but you're still listening at the same time, like.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I 100%. That's, I suppose, why we kind of started, is because we both listen to a lot of podcasts, and exactly as you're saying, I wouldn't have the time to sit down. I probably wouldn't have the attention span either, to be honest with you, to sit down and watch something on the telly for an hour, even if it was just a video of a conversation. But exactly as you say, you can bang into headphones, or if you're heading down the country in a drive, you can listen. So yeah, no, look.
And Shano's like, he's like the time clock, you know, because if the podcast isn't out by Saturday evening, right? I get a fucking message from Shane. Where's the podcast? I've nothing to listen to this fucking place. So keeps us on our toes. One of many. There's a few of you, and Shane is one of them. He'll come Saturday evening-ish, around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If it's not out, he's fucking on the ball.
Why is that a good sign, though?
Exactly. Yeah, no, look, exactly. No, it is. It's great. It's great when you get late messages going, just what the fuck's going on? Why the fuck have you done a podcast?
It's mad, because for the first 21 episodes, it was like clockwork. But next thing, like, we all know, we all have lives outside of this, like, and it might be a half a day or a day late. And the next thing, you go to open your Spotify, and you have to go back and listen to number 2 or number 3, because where's the new one?
Sorry about that, Shane.
Terrible sorry about that. We'll if my boss is listening, do you realise now look at what you kind of hassle you're causing.
Look at the complications you're causing.
Exactly, just because of your work and you're being selfish.
The next big question, Shane, I suppose, is how in, like, you talked there about with your dad, God rest him. And I know your grandfather passed away recently enough. So as I say, our sincerest condolences. I know he was a big part in moulding yourself, I think, from talking to you and being in and around him. But
he was, sure, probably. like I said, like from an early age, all I can remember is like out hunting with my father, or shooting the pigeons, or we go off shooting rabbits. I remember my very first dog, a little springer called Fleck, and like that was all I wanted to do was just hunt and hunt and hunt with my father. And even if I was bored or at home, and it fucking happened enough if you'd be listening to my mother, but I was spite. My father used to bring me brother Corey, who had no interest in hunting. So I'd be fucking crying in the room for not going, and he'd be crying for going. So
Jesus Christ.
it was a great way of getting me to straighten up, and it did. But then what happened was my grandparents out in the country here on my mother's side, where we live here in Jenkinstown, they'd all be having hens, and they'd have peacocks and ducks and all sorts of stuff. So I was reared with all that kind of stuff. And eventually then I got a little bantam, and I'll never forget getting my first pheasant eggs. And the bantam, well, I thought the bantam went clocking, but she had no more interest. And I was trying to stuff her into a barrel and put her sitting on the eggs. And like a lot of what we do, like, it is trial and error. You're not going to get it right the first time. I said that to Anthony there a couple of times. The more, like, the harder you try nearly, the less you'll fucking achieve. Because I remember an old man in the gun club before, and it'll always stick with me. He always said to me that all a pheasant wants to do before November is die. And all he wants to do after November then is live, because they will test you like they're fuckers. But that transpired that I had chickens, and next thing I ended up having 2 chickens, then I went to 4 and 5, and then ended up having 1 dog, and now I'm looking out here now, I have 7 of the fuckers, and I have incubators, and whatever I kind of get into, I really, really get into it, actually to the point where it's nearly obsessive. So this breeding thing with incubators and hatching hens and gold tops, I always mention gold tops. I think they're the best breed you can get out there for hatching, because they will just hatch. Well, just started off small, and it snowballed, and here I am here now looking out in the garden at fucking nearly 100 birds. Like, but I wouldn't change it for the world. They're my medicine out there, even after all the stuff that went on with my poor father, God love him, and my 2 grandfathers. If I was feeling bad, or I was quiet, and I'd leave the house and I'd go off for a walk with the dogs, or I'd go sit in the back with the chickens, like, they're the best medicine you'll ever have. And I'm all for it, I think.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I think Shane, you said there about an obsession. Like, I think I follow a guy, CT Fletcher. He describes his medicine as his magnificent obsession. You know, and I think there's nothing wrong with being obsessed with something if it's healthy. You know, like if it I suppose keeps your mind or at ease, and I think all 3 of us have that probably in common, where, you know, some people would say, geez, what are you doing out at, you know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning? And we don't see that as being work or being
Exactly,
you know, laborious.
And you'll always have good memories of it. Like, I could go back. I'll never forget the time I shot my first cock pheasant with my father. Like, my father had a setter called Duke, big lemon and white fucker. He used to run off the whole time. He was cracked. But I'll never forget the dog sat there on the ditch one day. I was only about 13, 14. And next thing, he turned and handed me the gun. He says, go on and have a shot. And I swear to God, my legs went to jelly. And on he went, and put the dog up, and up got the cock, and I shot it. And my father, proud as punch, ran over to me and gave me a big hug and says, well done, son, I'm proud of you. You'll never forget them things like that. You're on cloud 9.
My God, man, that's Jesus,
Then the fucker knocked me down a peg or 2 when he told me he was plucking it. There was only 1 pellet in his neck, and I have a bad spot. So
you see, that's the Irish father. You see, you have to keep you grounded.
Exactly. Give you a little bit of rope, and then fucking pull it back as well.
The chest goes out too far. You have to pull him back in a little bit.
That was you could argue it was you. I knew it would only take the 1 grain. That was it. Was shot placement.
I'll never forget a story my father's cousin said. It was actually his own father's funeral, God love him. And he was telling the same story about when his father brought him out first and gave him the gun. And they were heading off for their first shot together, and they were both proud as punch. They were on each side of the ditch heading on. Next thing, this cock up, and the young lad pulled and dropped the cock. And he started jumping up and down. I got him, Daddy. I got him. And the father turned to him and says, did you pull as well? You did.
That's brilliant.
They're the memories you'll have, and I'm looking forward to making memories of my own 2 kids here now. There are 3 kids. They're like them sorts of things. I can't remember what I done yesterday, but I can go back fucking 20 years there nearly and remember things I done with my father. Like, so that's what it's all about.
Yeah. That is what it's all about. Hear to that, man. Hear. That's what it's all about, man. Creating memories like that. We all have, I suppose, special memories. I have one. I remember going out with my own father years ago. Like my own father done a bit of hunting. He wouldn't be into it in the same extent that we are, or arguably your father was, Shane, but would have done a little bit. And I remember going out with him years ago, walking out. We weren't in any gun club. There was no pheasant rearing. We didn't even really have a gun dog as such. We had a dog, but it wasn't a gun dog. But I remember anyway, nonetheless, heading down single barrel vehicle and going down along this bit of a ditch. And next thing up got a pheasant, and I pulled on him and shot him. And like that, must have only barely clipped him. And of course, I only had the gun and the cartridge that was in it, and I was after me walking about 40 yards ahead of my father, and I turned around and I jumped up and down and says, "Yes, yes, yes, yes," and then I could just remember the outlet going, "Jesus, will you look?" Turned around, here was the pheasant like a greyhound heading down the edge. And then sure, I'd near a cartridge, only a single bar back. I had to run back to the outlet, get a cartridge, run like fuck after him, and hit him again. Oh, Jesus Christ, will you stop? It was like a fucking, like a skit off fucking Laurel and Hardy or something. But yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about, man. It's all about making memories. I go out with my own young lad, and I hope to God that he'll when he gets to my age, he'll look back, or our age, he'll have memories like you. He'll look back and think fondly of his old man, I suppose, if I'm not around her.
Exactly, yeah. They're the type of things, like, I know some days you could come in and you have fucking paperwork there, and you have other things to organise, and next thing you want to go feed the pheasants, or you might want to walk the dogs or clean the runs, and you're thinking to yourself, why the fuck do we do this shit? But then you think back of like when you were small and the memories you have, and you hope then that you're giving the kids, the next generation, the right information that they can kick on. And the next thing you mightn't realise it, but you could have a young lad sitting in that classroom that hasn't a clue about hunting or fishing or where our food comes from or how biodiversity works or nature. And next thing you could be talking away, and it could just click with that child. And next thing that child kicks on and ends up being as interested as you are, and he'll roll it on for the next 4 or 5 generations to his family. So if you could do that with if you could get one chap out of each school to kick on and have the interest, and I don't mean him going out mad and fucking shooting everything he sees or anything like that, but even if he planted a wildflower in the garden, or if he released a few pheasants, or little small things like that, all helps, because we are, like our lumped lads, we're our backs are to the wall there now, and we need to kind of come out fighting, because some of the stuff we're being slandered by even is wrong. Yeah. And we do a lot more work than we're credited for.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, there's no.
Just, I'm sorry, Brendan. I'm good because we can't see each other here. So I was like in school where you used to have to put the love up, to put it in, but you can't see me.
Thank God.
Thank God. Look at now. You missed me, man. 2 weeks, man.
Yeah. You never even commented, man. You never even fucking.
I was thinking that as well. I thought you had a beard.
Yeah. Hard lad, they're too expensive.
If that's what you describe it.
Oh, shut your mouth, you idiot.
No, we won't get into that.
We won't get into that. Yeah.
I have a horrendous looking beard, but he gave me off a big hug there when he came back from holidays. He missed me terribly.
Oh, I did, lad. Yeah, it was absolutely shocking. Yeah, like I was out, sun, sea, beer, topless beaches, but no, I was just Anthony Grove. I wanted.
Absolutely. Shane, come here. There's loads of people, right? This is a huge topic for us, right? If I know you've kind of been lumbered with walking me through the trial and error. Yeah. We've gone into our first year of breeding pheasants and rearing pheasants, and look, we've had ups, downs, and everything in between, but we've learned a huge amount, and look, we've cut through some of the stuff thanks to yourself. But if you were recommending, there's a couple of young lads listening here and starting off breeding pheasants, trying to get a few reared themselves, and where's the best place to start?
Yeah, so that's, if you think that you want to rear, I don't know, a clutch of pheasants or a clutch of, like this year where I got you a couple of mallard, and judging by what you're saying there and the messages when you be chatting, they're a success. If you plan on doing anything, if you plan on rearing a clutch of pheasants for next year, you need to start now. You need to, what way you're going to go, what space have I like the mistake I made, and like I said, I made some amount of mistakes I'm still making mistakes. Every day is a school day in this game. Like the one thing you can't predict is nature. The big thing, like, I don't know how many, we're after having a rough fucking March when I had the adults in the pen. I don't know how many times I used to have to go out in the dark and put straw down in the pen because of the rain we got in March was unbelievable. Now we're in July here now, and we're getting fucking thunder here the whole time, and that'll kill the chicks and the eggs. You can't stop that. It's unpredictable. So you can have everything down to a T, and next thing a thunderstorm come and it'll destroy you. But going back to what you asked, if you want to do your job for next year, get the little hutch. Like, just because you have a small little hen and she's sitting on 12 eggs in a little corner, them eggs are going to hatch. They're going to become day olds. You're eventually going to need bigger space. And you're going to need bigger space after that when there comes 6-7 weeks to go into a pen. So what my advice was, and if I could go back in time and tell myself, start small. Start off with your 2 bantams, actually. I wouldn't recommend keeping the bantam on their own because they're kind of sociable little yolks. Keep 2 bantams. But don't start getting adults straight away. There's plenty of lads out there only glad to help, but lads, give them a few pheasant eggs to start off. And I had this thing in my head where starting off where, lads have to give me 12 pheasant eggs. I'm thinking then the 12 of them are going to hatch. Oh, there's 12 cocks there now. I'll have them for November. That's not the way it works. You have 12 eggs. You might be lucky to have 10 fertile. You might have 8 hatch. And like I said, going back earlier on, like, all a pheasant wants to do before November is die. They're hard work. You will learn if you had a small little triangular hutch, put your bantam into that. When she goes broody, then you put your eggs under them. You'll candle them then when they're 7 or 8 days old. And eventually after 24 days, your pheasants will hatch. Stay small. Learn your mistakes. Make your mistakes when you're small. The next year, if you want to get 3 bantams, 4 bantams, but just don't forget, like, a bantam will hatch maybe 2-3 times a year. A good bantam, I have gold tops here now, and they could hatch 4 or 5 times a year. So you're talking 70-80 pheasant eggs per bantam per year, but that's not 70-80 pheasants. That could be 20, could be 30. If you have a good year, it could be 50. If you have the bad year, like I had a clutch of grey partridge there last week, 10 days ago, and we're all perfect in the incubator, and a fucking thunderstorm came, and now I didn't open them yet, but I'm convinced that most of them are dead now because of the humidity and the pressure. So my advice for any young lad starting out is, and don't be afraid to ask. I've asked more people. I didn't know the stuff I know now by just trial and error. Like, there's a lot of lads out there that are into the game, and I text them morning, noon, and night, and I'd be asking, and it just stuck with me. So don't be afraid to ask. But my number one advice starting off is start small and make your mistakes when you're small, and don't be afraid to admit that you made a mistake, because, like I said, if one lad can hatch 1 pheasant and let it off into the garden, that's 1 pheasant that wasn't there before you put in the effort. So one is a credit to anyone starting off. So, like I said, start off small.
Yeah, valuable advice there. In fairness, I think that's like, because theoretically, and I suppose even it comes down to, even when they're chicks, they're a couple of weeks older. You know what I mean? You're putting them out into I suppose a rearing pen, or poults, I suppose.
Yeah.
Even like that, you could be a club. You could start off in a club and you could have maybe 15 members, and build a big pen, and buy maybe 300 or 400 poles. But, like, if it's your first year, you need to, like, are you on top of your vermin? Have you all your feeders up? Have you got the area sussed out? Is it accessible? Exactly as you said. With our own going to them, I'm not saying our own is anything fucking special, but I mean, we're obviously proud of it, but it's not. We started off very first year, 2007, I think it was, with 30 between about 5 members, and we're up around 350 now a year, there and thereabouts.
Yeah. Even, I'll never forget there, one of the times I built a little hutch for myself, and I had a little box, and she hatched in the box, and the chicks came out, and I had, what was it there? She must have had 13 or 14 day olds. And next thing I went out to feed her, and she had fucking 2. And I said, what's going on here? Like, even though the mother chicken was calling them to come feed and come for the water, they just walked out through the chicken wire. I had a chicken wire too big for the day old, and I lost fucking 98% of them. But that goes back to my point. I made that mistake once.
Yeah.
You will make mistakes, and I guarantee you will not make the second mistake. I've often gone down to the pheasant pen here in the local club, and the birds could be flying, it could be healthy as anything, and next thing there's one of them hanging out of the fucking net after hanging himself, or thinking to himself, why are you know what I'm saying? What's going on? Like, it is frustrating, but the end product when you're releasing birds, and even, it's not just about going out with the dog. Like, I know some lads, they're into probably guilty of myself there at one stage. They're into putting their pictures up on Facebook. Well, look what I got, look what this got. But now I'm at the stage where I'd rather go out and watch the dog work. I'd rather reward him with a cock or 2 or a duck and all. But watching the dog work is what we're after at the end of the day. But even after the season closes and next February time, and lad in the club might send you a picture of a lovely cock walking across the garden, like, and then, just that's one of our lads, he made it through the season. So that's there is a lot of positives to take, but there is what's the word I'm looking for? There is some things that will knock you back, but the key is not to give up, because I don't know how many times I felt like giving up, only for a few good people out there to they tell you like, oh, we've been through that, stay with it, and at the end of the day, here we are.
Yeah, look, I think that's a good analogy. Like I know, speaking from experience this year, like we're kind of clambering all the time, because like last year I was speaking to you Shane, we were getting a pen up kind of in preparation more so for this year than last year, and we put our adult boards into it last year and kind of half release, and then went again, and now we've a mixture of poles coming this year from being bought in, and then we've hopefully a few ourselves, and obviously our mallard. Just judging with our success, I think it's a great place to start, isn't it? Is with the mallard, because they're a little bit hardier than the pheasant, and you can you get a gauge then of what you'll need from that. So if you have, we got a few golden tops from yourself, and Daniel, I think was kind enough to give us a couple for the club. Fair play to him, and we had great success. We've the guts of 30-40 mallard now going out this year that we wouldn't have out, and that's been a walk in success, and we've kind of learned a few bits from that.
There would be pros and cons for rearing all different game birds, but like just for example down here, I released them there now. I had a drake and 6 ducks, and I turned that drake and 6 ducks into 78 ducks for the club, just by
Jesus Christ.
You'd be collecting the eggs and hatch them in the incubator and hatch them under chickens. And I sent you the video there of Susan hatching out fucking chickens and ducks there. She had a hen pheasant hatching out ducks.
Good old Susan. Yeah. Jeez,
then,
that's some numbers.
Then start to hatch themselves then, and it went to a stage there where all the 6 ducks were hatching. So I had 60 eggs underneath the 60 ducks. Like, they'll bring out their own. You could be taking eggs for 3 to 4 weeks off a mallard, and eventually you leave them to them, and they'll all hatch themselves. Like, I often question that at meetings, whether it's county or national. I said, how are more people not rearing mallard? Because they're the easiest yoke you will ever keep. They're the hardest little yokes. You think about, you're a day old and they're swimming in a river there and they fucking freeze, and like, they're just incredible little yoke.
Yes, yeah. I suppose vermin is the biggest, I suppose, threat to them, isn't it? If you have to, we done a pond that when we built an island on it. I suppose that was our way of kind of helping, I suppose, with the vermin issue. But do you find now through the NARGC, and obviously in the line of so like with the pheasants and talking to different people, majority of gun clubs out there, or ones that are they buying day olds, or are they going for more for poults, or do you know what I mean? What would you see, a bit of a good mixture, or?
I'd say now, judging by, and I'd have a fairly big platform from the hunting group. A lot of people seem to look for poults. Yeah. And like when they're 6 or 7 weeks old, like, they're out of the danger zone of needing heat and needing shelter and such and such. So the majority, 99%, I'd say, would be poults. But then you'd have a couple of lads like myself there that have eggs, and they'd be going down the day old route. Or you could have lads that are fucking massive and decide to get 1,000 day olds for themselves and rear them on, so they're saving money that way. Yes. And then you'll have other clubs who just simply don't have the manpower or the interest actually to have poults. So they'll come on and they'll buy their adult birds. But there is all different, but the majority now would be poults. And if anyone wants to start off, I would recommend poults, to be honest.
Yes. That's what we go for, poults, purely probably down to just, I suppose, time. I suppose really with lads, I suppose that's where I'm sure is similar to Anthony there. That's our stumbling block. A lot of the time, it's just getting lads to put in a bit of effort. So a lot
of it as well would be money as well. Like I said to Anthony a couple of months ago, you might remember, Anthony, that a gun club is a business. If you think, like, if you can only afford 100 poles, get the 100 cock poles, and then buy up a few X-layer hens for half the price. They're adults. They're fucking stone mad. They're after being fired at on a shoot. They're nuts. And they're after being laying and out of finish laying. I guarantee you, a fox will find it a lot harder to get one of them than get a hen poult that you're after rearing for 3 or 4 months of the year, and still you can't even go near them. Yes. The main thing I tell people around it, that a gun club is a business. You need to keep the books balanced, which is most important.
Yes.
Yeah, to survive. I think that Shane gave a valuable piece of advice. I think we're doing it this year. I think we're getting 70 polls off one of Stuart. I think one of Shane's colleagues, and we're getting, I think, 30 X layers, and that's to encourage the stock next year. And it's very, I think it's a very valuable piece of advice for gun clubs like yourselves who are probably making that transition a little bit by pulling and dragging such times. But we used to buy just adult birds and kind of release, and now we have a pen, and we kind of phase release as we did last year, and now we've polls coming on this year. So we're kind of making that transition, I think, and that's a key as well. Don't try and do it all in the 1 year, because it's a tough job trying to do the few bits and pieces. Never mind trying to transition from adult birds to day olds in the year. So we're kind of doing it in phases, and we're introducing it. So hopefully we'll have double the birds we have on the ground this year that we did last year, as well as introducing kind of breeding stocks for next year, which is important.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I see it there on some of the groups, and even on my own group there, and it's fucking lads need to relax a small bit. There's no two clubs the very same. Like my club and Brendan's club and Anthony's club, they're not the same. We're down here in Kilkenny, we're blessed with tillage. We have fuck all cover, but we're blessed with tillage. So that'll suit some things, and you could have fucking ditches 10 foot high, and it won't suit pheasants there. It might suit woodcock. There's no two clubs in Ireland the same. So
yes,
don't try and use my club's blueprint for your club's scheme down there, and next thing you're not working, and you're going, this doesn't work. Every club is different. You need to accommodate your ground. Your ground might have fuck all tillage, so you need to have more feeders than me. You might be plagued destroyed by foxes and magpies and grapers. You might need to hammer them more than me down here, because I'm tillage, you're cover, and you're waste ground a whole lot. No two clubs the same.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cut your cloth to your measure, as I say.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I suppose we do have obviously as we mentioned a lot of messages and stuff from lads starting off with clubs, asking about pheasants in particular and asking for a bit of advice and stuff like that. And obviously, I mentioned there are some of the options that's available to you, whether you go for day olds and rear them, or you get poults, or you get mature pheasants. In my own opinion, I probably maybe shared with you, Shane, it probably a little bit would be getting fully mature grown pheasants. It's kind of a lazy way of doing it. I just think if you're going to be just buying them and letting them out, is there much of a challenge in it? I probably doubt very much that there is. And B, you get out of a club what you put into it. And if you just want to be if you just want to, now I'm not dissing anyway, every club is different, every circumstances, but I think if you say, for instance, if you have a group there and you say, look, we're going to buy fucking 50 reared or 100 reared birds, and we're going to let them out and we're going to go out and shoot them. Well, then for starters, probably the downside, you're not going to build much of a relationship with any other lads in the club, because you're not really doing much work as such in it. You're not, do you know what I mean? You're going out getting all pheasants. Where if you got a couple of lads together and say, look, this is the plan. Why don't we build a pen, and we're going to get 100 poles, but we'll have to go out, designate one lad every evening to go out and check them and feed them and make sure you know what I mean. That's what really builds a club. I think, I feel myself anyway, the likes of that camaraderie and stuff like that. That's what builds the clubs, are the biggest of the best clubs out there. That's where it all kind of starts, I suppose.
It'll be like a lad fucking rocking up there for hurling and thinking he's going to start the championship and not playing a training session all year. You need to you need to put in your effort. Yes. This is my own opinion now, and that's not to say I'm right, and I'm fucking, there's very, very, not too often I am right, but if you buy 100 adult cocks that've been in a pen since day one, right, and you're buying them off a lad, and they may look fucking savage, big long tails, big mad healthy yolks, and you let them off. I only know personally from one club that I know of, but got 100 adult cocks. I think they returned 2. They're going to wander. They're going to be like sitting ducks. They're not dogged. They're not fucking. They haven't a clue about predation. They're just used. They haven't been in the confines of a pen, knowing that if there's a fox on the outside, I'll just run over to the far side of the pen. The fucker can't get me. Yeah. Different when you're out in the big bad world, you will be swiped up. So, just my personal opinion, I wouldn't pay 18 to 20 euro.
No.
Per cock to shoot maybe 5%, 10%. Now, that's not to say that you're going to be shooting 50, 60% of your poles, but personally, I think they're costing you less. You're putting in a bit more time. You're getting like you feel. I don't know. It just feels wrong letting off birds in October and going hunting them a month later. I don't. It doesn't sit with me. I'd rather
No.
get me poles in June and July and letting them off in September, giving them their 2 weeks sitting time, and then dog the living shit out of them as much as you can, because what you want at the end of the day is a good wild bird. The wild
Yeah.
pheasant in Ireland now is nearly a thing of the past. So
Yeah.
you nearly need to get the next best thing, and that's a rare bird.
No,
And
absolutely.
look, I suppose that's probably traditionally or historically that's been the way probably my club has done it. We've changed. I'm not saying this because we changed probably last year, and with a view to trying to get numbers up. I think it was just probably there's just a couple of things at play. I think where especially we've seen the demographic slightly change. There's not a whole pile of younger people coming in up until quite recently, anyway. And the demographic in our club was, a little bit older. I hope the lads don't mind me saying, but and with that, probably, a little bit taking the eye off the ball, in terms of there wasn't a whole pile put back in, for the last couple of years, and that's I've all the old paperwork, and I look back at like a little history book, and I seen in the 70s and the 80s and the work that was put in by them lads, and in the early 90s, and then it just tailed off, and I think it became, as Brenny says, just a little bit lazy, a little bit. People said prioritize differently, and they were saying they wanted to keep their membership to gun club open, and probably did other things,
Yeah. But
and that's what happened. I think look, we're trying to change that, but it won't happen overnight. And you've a, as Brenny will probably tell you, I've had plenty. It's a wonder I have a fucking beard at all. Sometimes I want to pull the whole lot of it out, but
you don't have a beard, but go on.
That's why, Brennan. That's why, Brennan.
A lot of it though, like the generation before us, they don't realise how blessed they were to have fucking the ditches they had and the cover they had. Like you could talk to lads and they're telling you, "Oh, pheasant shooting is fucked and it's this and that," and I'm telling them, like, "How is it fucked? Like, we're rearing 300-400 a year." And he goes, "I remember when I was your age, I could go out and by 9 o'clock I'd have 10 cocks shot," and then he'd be telling us, "Why the fuck are you shooting 10 cocks? Like, I wonder it's never going to sustain itself." Like,
I agree with you there. Yeah, I definitely like the destruction of hedgerows and stuff like that, and probably intense farming and stuff obviously has a massive effect on it too. But like that, I suppose back in the day, like it was a means, it was a main food source, I suppose, for a lot of people. But I agree with you. Like, you see time and time, even now, you see pictures putting up lads like going out and fucking proud as punch 10 fucking pheasants the first day. Like, what the fuck's the point in that? Like, do you know what I mean? What honestly, like, jeez, if you go out the first day and you get a bird at all, you're fucking delighted. Like, bring it home and cook it and use it. Like,
yeah,
a lot of it in the hunting, what's the word, fraternity and the fishing fraternity. I said this to Anthony when I got to know him first, and he laughed at it. You could deer shooting, salmon fishing. It's all. You could ask a lad, "Jeez, where did you get that salmon? I'd love to learn," or something like that, and you'll get a text back saying the river. Or where did you get that deer? Can I go with you someday? I got it in the grass field there. You just feel like saying, "Fuck you, then I won't." What is interesting? A lot of the reason lads will go out and shoot. They'll shoot what they can, so the next lad doesn't shoot. Or if he even yarns and stories, like, I fucking talked to lads there, and they'd go to a spot and they said they met nothing, and knowing damn well that they met a heap of birds. It's just there is a level of not bitterness. It's be like begrudgery, thinking that he's going to go down. It's bad. It's wrong. It's wrong. It
is. I totally agree with you. I know. I said we've all heard the story of lads. I was out there on Loch Derivara, and Jesus great, I got fucking 56 fucking mallard, and you're there going, "What the fuck are you shooting 56 mallard?" I'm just saying. Obviously, that's not. I'm not saying that that's what happens too often, but like, as you say, it's as if some lads will be, "Oh well, fuck it. If I don't get them, he'll get them." Sure, you get a few and let him get a few and let that like get a few, and do you know what I mean? Sure, like, what the fuck, isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day?
It's a very bad attribute to have in this game, especially this game, because
Yeah.
there's a couple of lads here in my club, and I brought them out. One lad with me shot his first pheasant with me. Dara was his name, and he had his grandfather's red setter, and he had his grandfather's gun. His grandfather was fucking one of the founding members of the club now that I'm over. Like, and to see that chap shoot his first cock, like, with his grandfather's gun and his grandfather's dog, just it made me day. Like, so little things like that. I'd rather sometimes we'd be beating foxes now over the winter, and I'd never shoot. I'd always be in the cover, giving the rest of them shots, because I just love seeing lads. I don't know what it is. I just love fucking seeing lads delighted with themselves, carrying away their fox after getting a bit of crack, when they hear the dogs open up and barking. Like, I'd much rather see everyone shoot something, and then maybe I'll have a crack at the last, because I'd rather see the dogs going, to be honest. But it's an awful. Grudgery is an awful thing. It's an awful pill.
It is.
Yeah.
It is 100%. Yeah.
Shane, just in your opinion, right? Like, what's the pitfalls for lads? Like, because like we've a few guys here. I'm down in Galway at the minute, and there's a club down in Galway, and they're starting their rearing journey, I suppose. And they've done their vermin control last year. They're releasing a couple of pheasants this year and stuff. Right, we're talking about polls there. What's the things to look out for? What are the I suppose the pitfalls? What are the kind of traps that lads will fall into?
Right. So obviously, if they're getting poles, they're going to have a pen. What I'd recommend is maybe sowing kale in the pen. We saw a bit of Utopia kale. We were actually fucking late sowing it this year in the drought that we got destroyed it. But if you could sow kale, have a bit of cover in the pen, have timbers for them to roost, get them off the ground as much as you can. What to look out for then? You'd be looking out for your basic, your coccidiosis, or their eyes will go all watery and puffy. You'll have your gape worm, which normally comes with the rain, and we're used to fucking rain at this stage. They'll come up through the ground, a little red worm, and you constantly see the poles, and they're reaching and sneezing and coughing, trying to get the worm out. A simple cattle worm or panicure. Cure is all I use for cattle. I don't be fucking going off to the vets. Imagine trying to dose 300 birds there with bird worm, it costs you a fortune. Went to your local Aldi store and get a litre bottle of Curesol there and dilute it into the water. That'll kill the gape worm. But even pellets, get the right pellet anyway, the right protein. What we get, what we do is to cut costs down here in Kilkenny is we get breeders' pellets, we get growers' pellets, medicated, and we get it in bulk down here in Kilkenny, and we're saving €3 to €4 a bag for all the clubs. And in turn, then they can use that €3 to €4 on something else. But definitely you need cover. Definitely you need the right feed, and definitely you need to look out for the diseases. Coccidiosis, gape worm, mycoplasma, another big one. So just keep an eye on your birds. If you see a bird sitting in the corner and his wings are drooped and he looks tired and he just doesn't look healthy whatsoever, keep a lookout for yellow foamy shit in the ground as well. If you see that, act on it straight away. Don't leave it for a day or two, or don't wait to think, oh, Johnny is coming down tomorrow. I don't want to be the one saying that these birds are sick. Act on it as quick as you can, because more than likely or not, that bird has been sick 2 or 3 days before you copped it. So the quicker you act, the quicker you're going to save your few birds. But definitely they're the 3 big ones in Ireland that we get plagued with. And don't be afraid now if you get, like when you're looking at the weather today, we're getting fucking savage rain now tomorrow. So I know now tomorrow I'm going to have to go check my birds. If the pens get sloppy, I'll have to go out to a farmer. I'll get some straw. I'll put straw down on the ground, trying to keep it as dry as possible. So if you can master them. Now there's no master's a strong word. No one's going to master that. But if you can get the hang of them, look out for the symptoms. Get the birds, and once the birds are ready to be released, another thing actually I should go on, because it's a very important thing, is putting specks on your birds, putting bits into the bird's mouth, because birds get bored and they'll feather pick, and once they taste that iron in the blood, my God, they will destroy each other. I often went down and a bird could be dead in the pen, and all that's left is a skeleton. So if you can just spec your birds, I know some lads there get their bird delivered specced, and they'll pay extra for that if need be. But you have a bird with specked, he cannot grab the tail. If he has a bit in his mouth, he cannot grab the tail and pull. The tails will grow. You'll get good healthy birds with good strong long tails. They'll fly 10 times better. They're 10 times healthier, because like they're going around and their arses are bleeding and they're tired and they're losing energy, and all their energy is going into healing up their wounds, and they're not kicking on at all. So if you have your specked birds and your bits in, you're kind of saving yourself from future hardship down the road. You get me?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Do you spec all your birds, Shane?
Ooh, I'd spec what I can, to be honest, lads. I only like going forward for next year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get them delivered spec, because like realistically, if you need to spec 400 birds, you need 3 or 4 lads with you. Now everyone can't commit to coming down when I can come down, because like I work every second weekend, so there's some weekdays that I'm free that I'll go down. But definitely, I would 100% recommend everyone to spec their birds, because it just means like the birds, they're not being picked at, if you understand. Like lads think, I often hear lads smart arses saying, well, yeah, sure, there's no meat in the tail, you don't eat the tail. Yeah, but sure, if you have a bird getting up off the ground and he's no tail, like asking a greyhound to turn a bend with no tail, he'll fucking end up going straight into the fence. Like, so imagine a bird getting up and you're shooting a bird with no tail. Like, there's no sport in it. Like, he'll be slow as a worm of a snail.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's good fucking advice. That makes sense. I know we're probably running over. We're holding you up. I know you were probably fucking anxious to get home and probably get the grub. I just wanted to ask as well, Shane. Obviously, then when it comes to releasing, to trying as best as you can to keep healthy birds in the area, keep as many numbers as you can there, and I suppose cut down on the numbers lost. What tips would you give any club out there for the likes of that?
Yeah, so like cut down the numbers lost. Like I got my birds this year in June, so you're talking letting them off early to mid-September. So I'll plan a month in advance of beating the covers. You're going out with your rifle, you're going out with your shotgun, you're going out with your snares, trying to get what foxes you can in the area, getting down to where, like realistically, magpies and grey crows are not going to be a problem for adult pheasants. So if you could concentrate come September time on your foxes, you know we can't control time martin and we can't control this, that, and the other. But if you control what you can control, you're doing the area the world of good, and you're doing the best you can. Like a lot of people say, oh, foxes, get rid of them all and wipe them all out. There's no one. I don't think the NARGC are preaching that they want to wipe out the fox. Everything has a place. Everything has a balance.
Absolutely.
When you have a predator outbreeding its prey, you're going to run into problems. So they need to be controlled. So you come out a month before release and you're hammering as hard as you can. You're going to hammer your foxes. Keep them down, because like realistically, lads, there's no one come November, the first week of November, how many foxes are going to be shot in the area? Fuck all. You're going to be flat out with pheasants. You're never going to keep into a fox. You're just trying to keep them down in your club and let the next club worry about their birds, and let the next club again worry about their birds. But you just concentrate on your own, and everyone will be happy as Larry.
I think that's a good point there, right? Just on that, right? I think it's almost seasonal, isn't it? Fox shooting, because come the 1st of September, our attention switches to, well, I know myself and Brenny's deer, duck, and then obviously November goes to pheasants. So you have very little time to go out foxing. So the fox has plenty of time to replenish and regroup and so on and so forth. So you're not hammering it 12 months a year, or very, very few are anyway. And that's, I suppose, for people that don't understand what we do, in the off season, for all the animals that we shoot, be it fox, deer, be it a pheasant or duck, or woodcock, there's a time given for the breeding and the replenishing of stocks, and that's important, I think, to note. We're not trying to eradicate any one species, because as you say, a fox takes care of a few mice and a few rats and a few other kind of undesirables. So he or she has its place in the countryside, and we all want to. It's good sport, but it's also it also has its place as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you might have seen there at the start of the year, we got a bit of hardship with protesters at one of our vermin shoots that we have here in Kilkenny. Like, we're running that vermin shoot since 1968, I think it is. We have records going back that far. Like, we have letters from Quailsha stating why they want the grey squirrel eradicated, why they need to be controlled, because they're costing them, I mean, millions in tree damage. They're sowing trees and they're coming along eating the bark. We're not going down and trying to make grey squirrels extinct. We're trying to get a balance. When there's an imbalance, you need a balance. And most often or not, the reason for an imbalance is humans. Like, we knocking down too much ground, we're taking out cover and building houses, we're knocking this down, the other, dairy industry, the whole lot. So it's up to the humans to get the balance right again. Like, a grey crow and a magpie has its place also. You see, they could be carrying on the road, or you could have like you said, mice or sick animals or anything like that. They need to be there for a reason. They're there for a reason. But like I'm saying, when you have a predator outbreeding its prey, something needs to be done, and you need to step in, because I bred mallard there 3 or 4 years ago on a local pond here. It's actually the public pond where the vermouth does be on, and she hatched out 10 or 11, and I think within a day they were all wiped out, and it was actually grey crows were sitting up on the trees waiting for her to move. Next thing, swoop. So they're just without human intervention. Like, there's only going to go one way, and that's down. And that's just not us as huntsmen saying, "Oh, we want as many pheasants, we want as many mallard." The songbird will get eradicated next. They'll move on, and they'll move on, and they'll move on. Even look at the curlew projects, the plover projects. They are making great headway because of human intervention. I chat regularly with a gamekeeper in Boora Bog. He was telling me, like, over the last 15 years, they have 2 full-time gamekeepers. So you would imagine then, like, numbers would drop. When he showed me the chart, actually, from year 1 to year 15, the numbers aren't dropping, they're just plateauing. But can you imagine what it'd be like if they weren't doing that kind of work? Just incredible the way they breed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We touched on it, I think, even on our last episode, where we were saying that, like, you know, we if we were to look back on fox numbers in our own club, and we've been sort of, you know, controlling fox numbers for the past almost probably 20 years now at this stage, and it's never been a case where, like, the first year we got 100, and then we got 70, and then we got 50, then we got 20, and now we might get 10. They're always, just for argument's sake, if we get 100, they'll always be within 10 every year. So there's obviously, like, you look at the average gun club, say, for instance, say if you have a gun club there with 2,000 acres, but the next gun club that's that size, or any size of a gun club, could be 8, 10, 15 kilometers away. So there's thousands of acres in between you and them that you're not actively controlling, that foxes and grey crows and magpies and everything are reproducing on time and time, that there's no physical way you could do. So you just exactly, it's just about trying to control the numbers in the area that you can, and that's and
the people, Shane, that were protesting at your shoot there, you know, they don't actually know the damage that they've done. They don't know it yet. You know what I'm saying? The results of that aren't back yet. You know, like, because, like, the thing that they're trying to protect, the wildlife, you know, is essentially going to be the one that's going to suffer, because, as you say, without human intervention, you're not, because, you know, we enjoyed a bit of sport on the other side of it, so we don't want to see animal eradicated off the face of the earth, contrary to what we're trying.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even what I said to the woman on the radio, like, for every cock, for every duck we shoot, we're releasing 5 times that amount.
Yeah.
Like, even like, I know it probably doesn't matter at this stage, but they weren't even from the area. They travelled down from Dublin City, and they came down, start with their high vises on, start roaring and bawling what we were doing, and like, we got a chance to talk to them via radio, and the questions they asked, like, there was just, and their ethos, like, what they believed in, they believed they were doing right, and they want us all to, it's not just hunting they're after. They want, like, I think she elaborated on it, they want to stop farming, they want to stop fishing, they want to close all the zoos, our biggest conservation schemes going in the world, and they want to close them down. Even where we asked her, why do you think we shouldn't control pigeons over standing crops, which is the crop that you're eating? And she said that a pigeon, they only eat corn, or they only damage crops when we destroy the rest of their food. And you just feel like telling them, like, you're miles off the pace, like.
Yeah, 100%.
But she kind of has a point there, right? Because it is true, we're damaging the crop that they eat. In other words, the hedgerows and the wild bush and stuff, to create more land, like that big crop farmers can come in for thousands to feed you. So the destruction of hedgerows is essentially, you know, like the big, I know around my area anyway, you know, you look across and there's thousands of acres of crop or tillage, you know, like crop, and like that, ditches are being filled in, there's hedges are being butchered like skin tight to get every last half acre out of every field, so that yields will be as high as they possibly can. Ironically, to go into the rice cake or the
tofu,
whatever fucking, you know,
but
generation of a burger that they're trying to make, you know. So
but isn't it so?
If you think about the air miles that it takes to bring avocados and soya and all that across the world for them to eat, I'm not going to start nitpicking at, like, they're fully entitled to their opinion and their lifestyle. But one thing that bothers me is, Like, I choose to go out and shoot a pheasant, or I choose to go shoot a deer, or I choose to go fishing. I don't go rooting out looking for ye and ramming that down your neck. If you want to think you're doing good by not eating meat and going vegan, the whole lot, fair play to you. I applaud you. But there's no need to come down and ram it into our necks, going around in high-vis jackets and roaring and shouting. Your opinion is your opinion. No two people have the same opinion.
No.
Like, I'd even have the opinion that if they didn't be so confrontational, I guarantee you that I think they'd have a bigger following, because it puts a lot of people off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think like, if there's anyone out there that's part of these groups that are listening in, I think there's one thing I would say to you, and this goes for every aspect of life, no matter what, either it's hunting, basketball, your job. Make informative or educated decisions. So if you're going to decide, right, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to storm this shoot that's going on here in this forest, why are you going to do that? So what is your reasons? Don't just jump on the bandwagon because you saw a TikTok video about someone saying the cruelty that a certain animal gets because people hunt them or shoot them. Just on that, so like Quill Chat, now don't ask me the figures of it, but Quill Chat have a designation where, as far as I'm aware, they have to sow more trees than they harvest. Okay,
that's right. Yeah.
We all know the importance. It doesn't take a fucking genius to work out the importance of trees and how important fucking trees are to the environment. We don't have trees, we have nothing. So your little squirrel that you love, or your whatever, we don't have trees, we've nothing. We've absolutely fucking nothing. And what yous are doing down there is yous are going down there cutting down on the numbers of grey squirrels. Why? Because they were damaging the trees and they were killing a massive amount of trees.
Red squirrels as well. Like the red squirrel population in the last 10 or 11 years has skyrocketed here in Jenkinstown and in Kilkenny because of control. It's not just Jenkinstown doing the work. There's other clubs around that are shooting grey squirrels. But
absolutely. No, absolutely. And the grey squirrels, obviously, it's of huge importance to say them. But the point I was making was that would it be as equal to and as fair to turn around to them and ask them the question, well, why do you hate trees?
Yeah.
What have you against trees? Why do you hate? Why are you insisting now that these trees are going?
Here's the ironic thing, lads. Here's the ironic thing. There's not an organism on this planet that survives without killing something. So, like, whether you're a vegan or a meat eater or something in between, there's not an organism on this planet that will survive without killing something else. Just think about it. Like, say if you're a vegan, well, something has to die for your crop to be produced. In some shape or form. Because a hedgerow will have to be dismantled. Or if you're talking about the what would you say, the cattle population that's been proposally reduced over here. Well, over in Brazil, they're chopping down forests. So there's something it has to give. And then, ironically, again, and this is the fucking kicker, and I've been thinking about this last couple of days, right? So they want everything just to go back to, essentially a rewilding, like a natural preserve. Well, then half or 3/4 or 90% of the very people who are protected will be wiped out. Because what are they going to survive on?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people think, like, you go, where do you get chicken? Like, I get chicken in the shop. You're a mile off the mark if you think that. Like, you'd rather like, if you can go into the shop and buy a fucking chicken for €3.50 or whatever they are now, there's something not right there. Whereas you can go down the back, knowing that you're shooting a wild animal that with no antibiotics, no fucking force fed or cramped there with 100,000 other birds. This lad, maybe he could be a first year bird or second year bird. He still enjoyed. He still went down. He fed on insects. He fed on seeds. He went back up to roost for the evening. He free as a bird, not bothering him. I'd rather harvest that animal who was probably content and happy in the wild than having fucking 100,000 chickens and you're coming here every 2 weeks bringing them off down to a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Like, how I often wonder, like, how do the farmer, how does the processor, and how does the supermarket make money off €3, €3.50? Because it's simply down to numbers.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Intense farming. I suppose that's the main thing there, isn't it? You know.
Even
Come here.
like what? Sorry, before you go on, like what you said there a minute ago about informative, like, and I just a question that they asked popped up into their head. Well, it's not more of a question; it's more of a they were trying to state a fact. We were saying, what about the plover and the curlew, or even other birds for that matter that we're protecting? How, like, by us trapping greys and magpies, we're helping the red grouse, we're helping all red listed birds. And I think I'll never forget the answer the woman gave. She said that over time, the grey crows and magpies will learn to understand that them birds are scarce and to go predate on another animal. Now, it just boils back to what you said there about being informative. For
Yeah.
the love of fuck, you open your eyes and just look at what's going on. Like, how does the grey crow know? Oh, jeez, that's a grouse over there. I won't go near that egg. I'll go over here and I look for a wood pigeon or something.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I'd say we haven't done one episode yet where we haven't spoken in some detail about one of these issues, and it's no different than we spoke. I don't ask me what episode it was about these people thinking that, a great, I suppose, project or the solution to all issues with the high deer population is we'll release wolves. We'll get some wolves back in and release them. And, as we said, a fucking wolf is surely going to fucking chase a deer through forestry and over, 8-foot walls when there's, 15 sheep there within 3 acres. They can't move. Like, exactly like what you're saying with the grey crow. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't have a moral compass. He's just wants to feed. And that's that.
Can you imagine going beating on a Sunday morning and a couple of lads see you from a heap of Guinness and next thing a fucking wolf comes out of the pub?
Holy shit. Yeah.
You can have a couple of lads doing stop go maybe. Huh?
Yeah, a few lads, yeah. The wolf would know not to, because he'd be Shane, we're going to have to let you go, man. Go. I'd say that the stomach's falling out, I'd say at this stage. Come here.
I'd have to go feed birds and feed dogs now before I feed myself. So.
It's a never ending fucking thing, but we love it.
We love it, though. We love it.
We absolutely love it. We absolutely love it. Shane, thanks a million for coming on, man. You're an absolute legend.
No bother at all. My pleasure.
Keep going the way you're going. That's the only thing I'll say. Keep doing what you're doing, especially with the NARGC, especially with the youth committees and getting people involved in it. And fucking hats off to you. Fair play to you, man.
No bother. Down, Anthony. Down, Brendan.
I'd like to take it just to thank you, Shane. I suppose you've been a huge supporter of the show from day one, so it's been an honour to have you on, and thanks a million for all the support.
No bother. I'll keep the videos going with Susan and the peacock and all that.
Keep them coming, man.
The magpie training and all that kind of stuff.
Could you believe I had to get rid of the peacock because about a month ago, around 5 a.m, the dirty bastard flew up on the chimney of the house and started crowing down the chimney. So I got an ultimatum from the wife saying, it's either you or the peacock. So I went up on Dundee first and no one took me, so the peacock had to go.
on that note, on that bombshell, is that what said?
On that bombshell. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Go on.
Thanks, Shane.
Take it easy, Shane. Have a good one, man. Cheers. Now, lad, and we're back. That was the delightful and the one and only Shane O'Neill.
So crack, isn't he?
He's a fucking gas taker, man. He's just a good dude. It's just great. What would you say?
Energy.
Exactly. There's just a fantastic energy about the man. Very, very passionate, and he has his head and his heart are in the right place. Like he knows what needs to be done.
Yeah.
In the sport,
more like him is needed,
Exactly, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, man. Without a shadow and a wealth of knowledge. A couple of little things I want to talk to him about. The bird feed that he's getting in bulk. Definitely, I like the sound of that anyway. So I need to chat to him about that and see where he's getting it. Because he said like he'd be saving €3 or €4 a bag, which is fucking a fair bit. Like
fair bit, yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to chat to him about that. That was another thing. You may have known this. I genuinely didn't, and I was going to actually ask him, and then he answered the question before I even got to ask him, was how or why does thunder and lightning kill the chicks? I don't know if we spoke about this. We said, is it like the noise or whatever? It's down to the pressure and the humidity in the air.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I, man. It just shows you how brittle, life really is at that kind of vulnerable stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Geez, 100%. And I thought that one thing I took from that is that saying that pheasants before September, all they want to do is die, and after September, all they want to do is live. Isn't it gas? It's such a true saying, though. Yeah.
I think as well, like that, it puts kind of like the work. I think anyone that doesn't understand what we do, from the incubator to the field, it is horrendous amount of work, like to keep these birds alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people saying, "Oh, it's almost ironic that you're going out and shooting them," then, but like for the amount of work that we get put into it, and there's a new pen being built this weekend in our club,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been dropping up material to it all week. There's lads gone today to collect poles first. There's lads going to drive posts tomorrow evening,
Mm-hmm.
and like this is like a never-ending fucking thing, to keep a few birds alive, to get like a release pen, and all of it, all it does is it reinforces like how, I suppose, just the ethics of what we do, like, and I think Shane touched on there were people coming down from towns that probably, have very little knowledge of the countryside in general, and they're trying to imprint their belief system on people who are looking at them and saying, hold on a minute, like my knowledge here is like you talked to Shane there, right?
Mm-hmm.
3-4 generations, no doubt about it, that's been passed down and ingrained in his family. And you have people coming down and telling who haven't, not one generation, and they're saying that their belief system is better. They know more and they know better than him, and that's not the way to teach them. If they do have, and Jesus, like if they do have a better way, by all means, let's talk it out. Like let's, if your way is better than my way, let's talk about it. But they don't want to do that, They want to come down and it's almost like a dictator, you can't do that. You're not, you shouldn't be doing that. And that's not the way to teach somebody. Like Shane is going out to schools there and he's showing them by, look, this is how you do it, and trial and error and the process and how experience and what he's learned and the tricks, and he's putting the knowledge into people's hands, literally, incubators and eggs and wildflowers and all kinds of stuff, and that's the way to teach people. Not coming down and with the iron fist and saying you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that, and not having a fucking breeze really what you're talking about,
Absolutely, yeah. I think, I totally agree with you. I heard a very interesting interview a while ago, and it was by one of the top psychologists in the world, actually. And the way he explained it was, and it's not just for, say, these animal rights activists, it's for, different people that are, say, very much pro, I suppose it could be called left wing or whatever, but not to put I paint them all with one brush. But what it's about is when you have people like that, it's not, a lot of the time it doesn't become, because it's not about them believing there's right and wrong in animals. It's because it's built into humans. Unfortunately, it's a control thing, and like it or not, a lot of humans feel power, get the ultimate sense of power from control. Yeah. So it's not as such that that a lot of times they're going, no, we they don't want to sit you down and say, well, look, can we come to some sort of a compromise here? We think this is not right, and they don't want that. They want to make you stop doing something, and it's that ultimate sensation of power. That's what a lot of people strive of. So I unfortunately, trying to compromise or trying to educate or anything, it's not going to work, because that's not really what their agenda is about, actually. If you bite it all down,
it's sort of similar to cult kind of thing. It's like, I remember I used to do the door and the thing I don't know where I told you this, years and years ago. I was fucking 18, 19, used to do the door in Lucan, and I found some very nice people I worked with, but some people just they shouldn't have been doing it. Number one, I would have had some empathy with some of the people I would have been trying to escort out the door, because a large portion of the time I was that person, unfortunately, from my sins.
Yeah.
But there was a way and a means of going about it, you know what I mean? Like, you show a little bit of empathy, a little bit of, I know, look, and you're dealing with people with large quantities of drink and sometimes other substances, and you have to try and. But some lads, all they wanted to do was fucking hammer them. Literally, just all they wanted to do was the argument, because they knew they were in the ascendancy. They were obviously within their own senses. They were dealing with somebody who was kind of incapacitated. And then there was numbers of the bouncers, so they had this kind of almost power thing, and I could never understand it. I was like, if quite the contrary, from my perspective anyway, I almost felt like, guys who were probably made a mistake or miscalculated judgment or whatever, maybe, had went up to chat up a girl and said girl was with somebody else, and the other fella got mildly upset, and that's the nature of the business, so you have to try and sift through all that. But like what you said, almost reinforcing at the end of the night, we had to do a report, and you'd see lads there and they were kind of literally reinforcing, and they were saying that's not really what happened there. He wasn't that out of order. He told you to fuck off or whatever, but like grand, words, he didn't do the thing that justified you, fucking taking 3 men to grab him by 4 legs and fuck him out the door, Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Similar to what we're talking about there. It's just like, it's like literally when I have an ideal, it's like grasp onto it, and then there's no reverse. There's no, hold on a minute, maybe do I have a little bit of right here, but maybe I got this bit wrong, or is there a compromise somewhere in the middle? It might lie. There's none of that.
No. It's, and again, I think it's down to that assertion of power. It's a power thing. I probably, I don't know if we've even had this conversation before either, but I would have done security for a good few number of years at concerts and events, the likes of when it used to be electric. Well, it's still electric picnic, oxygen and stuff like that. We used to do security and all that sort of stuff. And more often, if you're reasoning with people, like someone's coming in absolutely, shit-faced or off. In a lot of circumstances, not all, there's always exceptions to the rule, but in a lot of circumstances, if you reason with them and say, look, I can't let you in. Why can't I let you in? Well, think about it from my side of you for a minute. I'm here with a position not to be letting people in there that are in a bad state that could hurt themselves or hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
You're obviously presenting as that person. I'm not saying you're a bad person. You might have just had one too many. It's happened to us all. Sit there, relax, don't kick up a fuss, don't draw attention to yourself, get some water into you, sober yourself up, come back, we'll let you in. As long as you're grand, let you in. It's not in my van. But that was me, and that was what other lads were. No. I'll give you the classic example of, and I'm going waffling on about this, and we'll get back to hunting now in a second.
I know.
I always remember the time. I remember going into a nightclub down in Cork. I think it was when I was in college in Cork. I think it was, was it Regan's? No, it was Havana Browns, actually. That was it. And I remember walking up to the front door with a couple of lads from the class and from my year, and there was a couple of girls in the whole lot. And because I was obviously taller than them and probably well built, I remember the security man just stopped me. I hadn't touched a drink the whole evening, which was rare, but I genuinely hadn't. And he walked me, he says, "Oh no, not tonight." He says, "You've had a bit too much to drink." And everyone looked and I kind of like, is this like joking or what? I was like, I haven't touched a drink at all. And he just like, yeah, no hassle. He says, look, just go on there and sober yourself up there. And he says, and sure, I'll have a think about it. And I knew by the look in his eyes, this man, it wasn't that he was vicious. He was a certain dominance. He was looking at me going, you think you're the big man walking up here. I'm bigger than fucking you. And I'm going to let everyone know that I'm the bigger fucking man than you. Like, right? So he's like, right, that's his ego. I says, whatever. So the rest of them went in and I says, all right, look, I said, sure, I'll go and grab a coffee. Yeah, he said, go and grab a fucking coffee. So I literally walked around. Anyone from Cork will know this area. It's just a big square building. There's a pub in the front, a nightclub in the back. I did one route about, came back up. I says, yeah, feeling a little bit better now. Because I was on my own, he says, right, go on in, don't act the bollocks. He knew I wasn't drunk. He knew I wasn't at risk to anyone. It was him saying, you think you're the big man. No, I'm the fucking big man.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. And I think if you look back on some of these groups and stuff like that, again, it boils down to that fact. No, we're going to tell you what to do. And that's
it is that, and I think there's a little bit of as well, Brenny, is in terms of maybe some of these people don't get to assert their dominance in other areas.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And
this is the one part of their lives they get to be heard. The loudest and the safety in numbers, and obviously social media now has that safety net for them. Because years ago, like, make no mistake of it, a lot of these people, I've seen them just in the Just Dial protests and stuff like that. Like, make no mistake about it, 20 years ago, they would not be doing what they're doing because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you could imagine, like, a builder with his tool bag in the back of the truck, and he's trying to make down through the middle of London to get to site to work in the cold and the muck and the shite all week. And there's a lad sitting there with an orange jacket in the middle of the road, stopping and going to work in there and providing for his kids.
Yeah.
Put two and two together there. You're getting four.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly on a trolley. In days pre-smartphone, these issues would have been resolved an awful lot quicker. But,
probably not better. Yeah, but I know.
Exactly.
Everyone has the right to a voice. Everyone has the right. We're not saying that. Just
100%. Just do it.
There's a fucking way about it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 110%. I agree with you.
What do you think about Shannon with the peacock, man? They're thrown out the chimney.
It's so weird, man. I don't even know where he lives, but I can picture that exact scenario. I could just vividly. I could just picture his peacock going bananas and herself
and his
saying,
missus with the rolling pin about if you don't get that fucker. I'm being disingenuous, but that's the vision I have.
Exactly.
Get him off that fucking roof.
It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant, man. I think that is fucking hilarious. An absolute character and a wealth of knowledge, and you'll be hearing more from Shane through the podcast in the next couple of weeks. Absolutely. And stuff. We'll be touching base with him over, because we're both we haven't spoke about, but I know our birds are coming in the middle of August. I need to get out this weekend. Might try and get out tomorrow night and start putting a bit of shape to a few bits and pieces. So it's all going to be happening. You mentioned, did you say you're putting up a pen?
Yeah, we're putting up a second pen now. So we've 70 pulls, I think, coming the week after next, which is next weekend.
Where are you getting your pulls, or do you want to say it, or do you not want to say it? You don't have to.
Shane's actually arranged them first.
Is he?
Yeah. A man called Stuart. I don't know him, but I feel like I know him now. Because cool. he's So next weekend. So we're doing just a small release pen. So we've 70 pulls coming in. We have our own pen. One of the guys has a small pen beside their house, and then we have a third pen on a separate area of the Gun Club land that was kindly donated by the farmer. And it's just going to provide us just a little bit more room, so we can kind of move a couple of the better birds as they're coming on into the second pen, and then we're going to phase release then. Just give more options and more diverse across the club lands, which would be brilliant.
Absolutely savage, man. Super stuff.
Yeah.
It's all happening. It kind of, sometimes you kind of think, I don't know if you'll be the same as this, you become kind of complacent throughout the year, time-wise, like you kind of forget, and then you realise, holy shit, the pheasants are coming now in 3 weeks' time. And then you think, well, if they're coming in 3 weeks' time, that must mean August is just around the corner. And August is around the corner, September's, you know what I mean? You think, you wake up and you go, holy shit.
You think about it now, man, right? Next week we're fishing. Right, next week we're fishing. That's the weekend after it's in fucking July. So like we're July is, we're from our perspective anyway, it's going to close in pretty quickly. And then we're on a countdown.
You need to get your license in for your new firearm.
I have it printed out here now, man.
Get it in, man. Get it in. Absolutely. Mine. I should have mine. I should have mine in the next couple of weeks. Give you a quick little story before we move on to our next section, because I'll just get this out of the way now. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I got a phone call. My 1.7 is up for renewal at the minute. And I have been informed by the Kildare Guards that, for anyone that's still unaware of it, the protocol in Kildare anyway, whether it's the same throughout the country, I don't know. But I can tell you that this is the process that I need to go through now to legally own and have my ATN night vision scope. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take it off my gun. I need to hand it into a gun dealer. I need to get a letter. I need to get a firearms. Make no mistake about it. It is nothing else. It is a firearms application form with the serial numbers of the scope. Right? This sounds, if you're from a different country and you're listening to this, you'd say, This lad's off his head. This doesn't make sense. That's how this world. So that's what I've got to do. I've got to take it off. I've got to hand it into a firearms dealer. He's got to do me out a letter. He's got to store it. I'd have to pay him. He's got to store it, get a letter, submit it to the Kildare Guard in my station, in my instance with the Kildare Guards. As far as I know, and I'm pretty sure I heard this right, it won't be the local superintendent. It has to go right to the top, as if you were applying for what is it called? Or an unrestricted firearms license. So this is now what I've been told. Don't quote me on this, but this is what I have certainly been told, that it won't be your normal firearms superintendent who'll have to sign off on this. This has to go right to the top. I don't know. Have you heard this? Yeah, this has to go right to the top to get, and I have to prove why I need this. And then, upon all that, if you're successful and they send you back out to cert, what have you to do? Only head down to your local post office with another fucking €80 and license it for 3 fucking years.
Madness.
€80. Crazy. So for all the people out there that's thinking about this firearms expertise committee and all the talk I heard that it was just
consultation and then
recommendations up, is, I can assure you, complete and utter bullshit. There's changes happening. They're happening already. They're going to be happening every other day of the week. Make no mistake about it.
I've printed off the new FCA 1 form, and I can confirm as well, for my change, it's 9 or 10 pages long. So most definitely. And on that particular form, it has your own, and for the scope, there's all a different range of scope. So yeah, they've skipped right from fucking section 1, 2, and 3 and went right to fucking 4. This was happening even before the public consultation. So anyone who, I'm telling you now, right, if Minister Brown has reaffirmed something, it would be, I would not trust as far as I'd fucking throw what he's just said. Because it's all rubbish. There's changes happening, as you said, from the minute the thing was established.
I wouldn't believe the radio in the man's car. And that is the truth. If he had a car, I swear to God, I wouldn't. And that is the truth. So I see another question, and I have another cert, and I'll pull it up here. But to the best of my knowledge, it's now looking for a Pulse ID. If you're a member of a gun club, it's asking for the Pulse ID of that gun club. And I was briefly mentioned to me that that's another thing that's going to be coming in, is that all gun clubs will have to have a Pulse ID. As far as I'm aware, if a Pulse ID, you have to be issued a Pulse ID, a guard has to come out and certify a gun club as having a Pulse ID. So, yeah. So you're all listening out there. I know you're listening in your numbers. From our experience and what we can see, changes are well and truly underway.
Yeah. Unfortunately so.
Unfortunately so. So, yeah, we just need to keep an ear to the ground to that. And Sinead, before this turns into a 4-hour long podcast, Anthony Grogan, do you know what time it is?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for a little thing we like to call Let's Talk Gear. Now, on this week's Let's Talk Gear segment, we are finally getting a chance to talk about Rovince, man. We've had Darren on, and we've done a bit of talking about ticks and the various stuff, and we were eager to put these to the test. Now, when I say a test, we obviously didn't go out and submerge ourselves in ticks. It wasn't that type of a test, but we tested them nonetheless.
Absolutely. And look at... if anyone's seen myself and Brenny, and this is the flex line we're talking about.
Flex line.
These have been put to the test, Brenny.
I'm only back from my holidays, so they absolutely have been put to the test.
Absolutely, yeah. And look, I'm not far behind you, so and I was probably a little bit ahead of you. So, they've been most definitely. It does exactly. I think I said to Darren, it does exactly what it says in the tin in relation to ticks, but it definitely does exactly what it says in the tin in relation to flexibility.
Yes, absolutely, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. So obviously, we both got a pair of the.
Go on, you kick it off. Kick it off.
Yeah, well, obviously, we both got, I suppose, identical pairs of flexline trousers. I suppose, how would you describe them? I suppose the one thing that sticks out with me with Rovince is they're not, right, obviously, right, what's the benefits of Rovince? Rovince are like a pair of trousers that have permethrin woven into the fabric of it, which we know now will kill ticks or paralyze them, I suppose, on contact. So it's just a piece of gear that you can wear when you're out, and you can be a little bit more relaxed knowing that if a tick is on your leg
You're
anywhere,
protected.
you're protected. Yeah, 100%. Now, that aside, these are not just some big, thick, awkward, heavy fucking pair. You know, it's not like a shield you're wearing, or these are very, very easy to wear. They're I suppose
Very comfortable. Yeah.
very, very comfortable. They're up there with any other, I suppose, make of trousers. So you're not sacrificing anything. I suppose the big thing. It's
Yeah.
not
Look,
you're not
I think
sacrificing.
me and you both. Yeah, me and you both, Brenny, have spent a fair bit on hunting trousers. And I think we both have had similar issues. Like we're not small lads, so and we're trying to hop over gate posts and stuff in the field and that like that. I've had it numerous times, and I've spent like fucking 130, 140 quid in a pair of trousers,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to jump over a gate post, and you hear the dreaded fucking rip. And Avril will test her, because she's kindly stitched mine up numerous times, because like that, you're after spending that money on the fucking trousers, and like that, you know, they tend to be kind of, you know, saggy around the midsection, and like that, they kind of catch on themselves. Does that make sense to you? Like,
Yeah,
you know, when you're getting over it, next thing they kind of catch and then rip. But these ones are slightly different. They're kind of like a little bit more fitted, I think would be the description. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're more of a tailor fit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I suppose now we're going to give it a marks out of 10 in a minute, but like we both were similar just because of the fucking pure awkward shape of us. I like a bit
Not built
more
for comfort. No.
No, exactly. Well, yeah, and we're not built for speed, I suppose.
No, speed.
Well,
Yeah. Maybe
we're
for comfort. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We're big fucking awkward men, but I love a little bit more flexibility around probably the quads. But then I'm one of those people, man. It's fucking annoying, because anytime you get a pair of trousers, like the waist, there's loads of room, but it's the legs. Do you know what I mean? Or the top part of the legs. I'd say you're probably similar to me. It's just fucking.
Yeah, I'm a similar boat. Like, and I think we're probably, and we're obviously not unique because two of us the same, but like I think we pretty uncommon shape. You know, like that. I'm a 36 waist, but in terms of the fucking from the butt cheek down to the kneecap, it's a little bit more meaty, you know.
Yeah.
Now, on saying all that, like, and that was my first reaction. Oh, geez, I think these are a bit tight. But like that, Brendan, I've been out in them 3-4 times now, and like that, hopping over the gate post and all. I said, oh, geez, I'm a bit wary here, but they are very flexible and they don't feel tight.
No.
Like they feel initially kind of a little bit kind of, what would you say?
Yeah,
A little bit clean. Like, yeah, snug, you know, but like that, very comfortable to wear. It's almost like having a, you know, like I've never worn them, but you see the joggers out, that kind of them flexibility trousers that they'd be wearing and stuff. They feel like that kind of a comfort fit.
Yes.
And I think I expressed my area. I put them on, and I think I text you and said, "Geez, I think the quad area. I'd like to be seeing a little bit more room in these." But like that, I think they're very what would you say? I'm looking for a word here now. Women use it when they're talking about clothing. Forgiven. That's the fucking word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They are, man. They are, definitely.
To those of us who don't have.
Yeah, I'm on board with everything you're saying there, man. The amount of times I've spent big money on trousers and end up ripping them, and it's just so fucking annoying. But yeah, no, definitely with these, you just like these I will be, aside product review aside, I will be using these this season. I will, purely because, like, I put it to you this way, right? If you were in a situation like clothes, especially, and I trousers, I think especially, if a lad said to you, "Here, come here, will you use this out? Will you use this, power washer for me, or will you use this tool for me here?" Yeah, and it mightn't be the best one, but you'd fucking say, "Oh, fuck it, I'll make do." But when you're heading off for a day, 100%. If I have a pair of trousers, man, no matter what they cost me, if they're not comfortable, I won't fucking wear them. I couldn't give a shite. They won't be worn. They'll just be thrown inside there.
Absolutely. But look, this is the easiest way I'm gonna describe this, right? At home and this is not a case of fucking blowing a trumpet or anything. This is just a fact because I like that when I'm buying something, I want to try and, go out and get it right. But I have the bones of €350 worth of trousers in the shape of two other trousers at home in the fucking wardrobe, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
One which I purchased myself, and one which was purchased for me. Under the guise, I remember somebody asked me for a present, what would you like? And I said, look, I really need like a second pair of really good trousers. My other ones were stitched up about 5 times, and now comfortable enough, and all that kind of stuff, but just a little bit fucking saggy here and there, and kind of you were conscious of getting over barbed wire was kind of like hanging down a little bit, and always getting snagged and stuff. But I'm telling you now, proof in the pudding, man. First, even when the last couple of nights I've been out fox shooting, obviously we were doing the tests and stuff, but the next night I'm out fox shooting, the three pairs will be looking at me, and this is the pair I will be reaching for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. 100%.
The tick protection aside, because as everyone probably heard, that's probably the furthest thing from my mind, and I need to keep reminding myself of that.
Yeah.
But just from the comfortability of these trousers, I would urge people, if you're looking to spend that type of money, I'd be seriously considering these trousers.
Absolutely, 100%, without a doubt. Some of the features, I suppose, just of the particular flex line, sort of a UV 50 plus protection, which we mightn't have to worry about here, but who knows? They're windproof, the 5 pockets, pocket on the legs, closed with a flap. The ventilation zippers, which, believe it or not, are handy. How many fucking times have we piled on all the gear, headed out, and 2K into it, you're just like, oh, sweet Jesus, what was I thinking? You're roasting. You're absolutely roasting. Yeah. Integrated lace hook. They're fast drying. I can attest to that from last night because I did put that to the test. Permanent tick resistant treatment. And up to 100 washes. They're available in 2 kind of different colors. 65% polyester, 65% cotton. Something main fabric that doesn't make sense, but anyway, unless they're cross woven, I don't know. But I suppose to boil it down, these are a pair of trousers that are tick proof. That if a tick, which we all know the danger of now, is on, you're in the clear. It'll fall off you. But that is not the main reason, and I think this is a huge thing for Rovince. That's not actually the main reason I would be buying these trousers. The main reason I would be buying these trousers is because the practicality of them, and just the wear of them, the feel of them, and how comfortable they are. So
yeah.
So the main selling point of them is only secondary to me to the actual the comfort of them and everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think they're really, really good.
And that's a testament to them, I think, because obviously their main advertising is for tick protection. It's trousers that has tick protection, but you and me both have kind of said, like, that's like if we were going out for a fox, tonight, like the ticks will be, what would you say, even though they are on foxes, don't get me wrong, but the ticks will be kind of limited because we go out a lot of times, we don't see any fucking fox, and like that, you're not going to be carrying the fox in your back. You're going to be probably taking the tail if you're doing a vermin canal. Otherwise, you're going to be disposing it pretty quickly. So the window is narrow, but I will still be reaching for this trousers. I think you're the same,
Absolutely, man. 110%, without a doubt. Price wise, there you'll see them on. You can go on to Rovince.ie. You can have a look at all the range of clothing that they do. Obviously, any Highland outdoor stockists will have them or be able to get them for you. Price there at $134.99. That's what they're priced at there now. I suppose I kick it off. Marks out of 10.
Right, go on.
I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. Say the only thing, there's 2 little things. I'd like more clasps on the side of it for when you're putting your belt through. That's one little thing, when you push your belt. I'd like a few more of them around it. And if they could have just put some of the stretch fabrics more so on the quad section of it. They're the only 2 things. They're very minor. That aside, as I said to you, they will be the trousers of choice I will be using all going well this coming season. So 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'd be similar. I'd be probably going towards the 9. I didn't the quad thing I initially thought was a little bit tight for my quad, but as I said to you, look, I have fucking fat quads, man. But what I would say to people would be, like, I think we're kind of a little bit Like I've a small waist compared to my leg size for some fucking reason. So,
Yeah.
but just for people more to be aware of that when they're ordering that'd be if they're ordering online and stuff, just to be conscious of that. If you have fat legs like me, just go for a little bit more forgiving size. But I tell you, I probably wouldn't go for a bigger waist size. That's me personally now.
No.
But yeah, I'd be giving it a 9. So there you go. So
Deadly.
we're 8.75 if we're splitting hairs. But
Yeah.
yeah, look, a very, very good trousers.
Good trousers, good result. Last thing I want to say about it on the price wise, 134.99. You won't find a decent pair of trousers anywhere for under that price. I just looked at myself earlier on, work clothes, work trousers, like Snickers type trousers. I use ones called Blackadder. Most lads that are in the construction industry will know of them, heard of them. And I just got another pair of them here the other day, and they are €187 for a pair. So.
Well, I'm telling you now, Brenny, right? Like, I know I was speaking to Darren that time. They sell a lot into the people in the outdoors, and you're working in Kilsha and stuff like that, a good bit, under machines and stuff. And I'm telling you now, man, I'd be having a word with your employer there and saying like, 180 for these.
Yeah.
The snicks in the pockets and stuff like that, but she's like good pair of trousers for that type of stuff,
Absolutely, man, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, and you'd wear them every bit as comfortably. So they're certainly not expensive, any of them, that's for sure.
Good stuff.
Great stuff coming out of Rovince. Suppose we better wrap it up. What are we going on? This week is going to be interesting. We're all looking forward to this. Talking to a fella earlier on today about it. So obviously we're heading off on Wednesday night. We're meeting at a rendezvous pint in Salt Hill, and Thursday we'll be out, all going well, fishing for. What are we actually going to be fishing for?
Well, man, that is the $1 million question. I'm hoping we get, like, I don't know, a bit of cod, a bit of bass, maybe, or pollock. I think is and even a few mackies would be nice, wouldn't they?
Yeah, fucking sure, man. Yeah.
Look, if we get a couple of fish, man, I don't care. We're gonna be cooking up. I think me and you and Jack, the Wild Boys, have been chatting about all the food ideas, and Jack is going to pull a home dinger out of the bag, I think, on Wednesday night, by all accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for this fucking thing.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait for that. George Burdess is bringing down some venison, I think, some of his own locally sourced venison. So I'm looking forward to that, man. So I cannot fucking wait. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We'll get some footage.
And Ankles has confirmed that it's 2 nights he's coming down.
Well, that could change, yeah.
Yeah.
I know he'll be down. No, I can't wait. It's going to be right good crack, man. Big Mac is on board. He is dreaming of these creamy pints. What's the name of the island? Inish. Is it?
It's one of the Inishes anyway. I don't know which one's going to be bringing us to.
Inish pints. Yeah, looking forward to that anyway. Cannot fucking wait.
No, look, we'll have a couple more. You're going to have to do me, and I'm going to have to do you. And now rewind that a little bit.
Whoa, easier. Whoa, what the fuck?
Whoa.
Still going fishing or what?
What a pony. That's completely out of context now, but in terms of the meet the crew, obviously I can't do myself. So you're gonna have to do that one to come up with something now. Nice, be nice. I might let you do me first before I do you. Is anyone fucking listening here?
We're talking about just go onto our Facebook. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I'll have to put a bit of thought into that one.
Oh, look, you won't have to think too long, man. There's loads of nice stuff you can say.
Yeah, I'm just going to see. I'll have a chat with Avril and see what are pictures she has from the past.
Man, Avril is fucking all these years later, man. She is still head over heels about me. So I'll tell you.
There must have been a woeful shortage of good men around Enfield back in the day.
It's apt that we're going fishing because, like, I'm a fucking serious catch.
A serious catch. A serious pain in the
like
hole.
That one.
God,
right,
no,
on that note, I've far too much of this fucking red wine and I've far too little food in my belly, and it's fucking near 11:15.
We'll wrap it up. What's your plan for the weekend? You're down to Galway for the weekend?
Down to Galway for the weekend, dude. Yeah, a little bit. I wanted to a few bits and pieces just want to get tidied up. Mm-hmm. Spend a bit of time with the kids. Haven't seen the kids all week, so want to spend a little bit of time with them. And what's your plan?
Lovely. What are we planning? Hannah's birthday. So Hannah's going to be turning 5 this weekend.
Ah, brilliant. Big happy
So,
birthday, Hannah.
yeah, so we're going to bring her off on maybe Saturday and spoil her rotten and maybe have some food and stuff from the party and stuff like that.
Good
Going to get out
stuff.
for a shot. I got my rabbit there, so I'm going to do up some sort of a dish. Hopefully tomorrow, if I get a chance, tomorrow or Saturday. We'll do up some sort of an experimental dish with that. So, yeah, we'll get some footage up of that, videos. Might get out for a shot over the weekend. I know Yanis, I think, is heading out to the gun club after he's still on Fox Patrol. So, might head out with him if I get a chance over the weekend. And yeah, we'll go from there.
We need to get a few rabbits in the bag as well for next week, buddy.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about that. We might go out probably Tuesday, try and leave as close as we can. Maybe if we know kind of Tuesday evening, early-ish. Get a couple, clean them out and bag them and yeah, get them ready to bring out.
Bag them and tag them.
Bag them and tag them. Well, listen, have a good weekend to all our listeners.
You too, buddy.
Our devoted listeners out there. I hope you all have a great weekend and enjoy, stay safe. And if you're heading out fishing or hunting or anything related, send us in any pictures or stories you have because we love going through them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Look after yourself, Bernie.
Have a good one, man. Take it easy. Mind yourself.
Over now, buddy.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.